Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is my amazing, wonderful guest, Reverend Donna Serafina, and she is joining me tonight to talk about the Idaho 4 case, which took place on, I think we all know, but November 13th, 2022. And she's channeled that case. As a matter of fact, she channeled it very, very early on. Like, I think your first reading on it was on the 18th, but you posted it on the 22nd. Is that right, Donna?
That's correct.
Yeah, yes. I thought so. I know it was very early on. So tonight, what we're going to discuss, actually, we're going to discuss a lot of different stuff. But recently, she was asked by, I think it was a subscriber, right, Donna, who said, hey, do you have any more, was it recordings or readings that you did on Idaho 4?
No, so it was a woman who says she has a TikTok channel. Okay. And she wanted any kind of screenshots related to something to do with the Idaho, like not all my screenshots, but just something specific. And so I didn't have anything to do. So I went into my old files from 2 years ago, and I'm clicking through them, looking, and I realized, hey, there's a reading I did on November 21st. Yeah. So the day after the second reading, I uploaded the first reading, forgetting that the second reading was even there. And then when I was looking through my files, over a period of about 6 weeks, I did at least 5 more readings, and I never uploaded them. So, which was so weird, because my dog had puppies on November 22nd, and she killed them all and kept one, and I saved that one, but I had to take care of it myself. And so I was like in this fugue state, this waking sleep state. And I never even realized that they were all there. So I still wouldn't know if that lady, some total stranger from TikTok, contacted me.
Gotcha. So her question kind of prompted you to go look in your files, and then you found like a treasure trove of info.
Right. Yes. A treasure trove. And also that reading that I uploaded on 11/22 is 38 minutes long. But okay, so I told you one reading that says the same thing is 1 hour and 8 minutes, and I edited it to 38 minutes. But now I found another one with that same one that says 1 hour and 20 minutes.
Jeez.
So it's like, and I vaguely remember, but I do remember because it was in between. My dog had one puppy, and I figured there's an hour between. And I listened to this reading, and it actually got way more graphic and traumatic and gross than what I uploaded. And I remember just cutting a big chunk out. Like, I don't have time to sit here and edit every sentence, so I just like cut a chunk out and uploaded it. Even today, though, I'm like, what I'm doing personally is I'm scouring these readings looking for clues to where he put his knife.
Right.
I totally believe he buried his knife. I know everyone says how convenient it would be to throw it in the river, but for him, it was a trophy. It had special meaning. Like what I saw, if my readings are correct, he did not even clean it. He did not wash the blood off. He wanted it there. He wrapped it in linen or some kind of material, and it was ceremonial the way he buried it. And so I'm scouring, I'm looking for any clue to this, and then I'm hearing that, and then so I'm looking at this Albertsons, on Google Earth. I'm looking at this Albertsons he went to, and lo and behold, of course, the what are they called? The symbol or whatever for the logo on the side of the building, of course, for Albertsons. Think about it. It's dark blue, medium blue, and light blue. Yeah. And so I'm just like, oh my God, wow. I wish I'd uploaded all these readings. More so, I really would like to find that knife.
I know.
I mean, I just feel driven. It's almost an instinct of like a homing pigeon, like this feeling inside of me, like I need to go find this knife,
Right.
And then other people, someone told me, well, one of the producers from Paramount or whatever told me, well, he wouldn't have buried it because it was snowing, the ground was frozen. But actually, if there's a tool called a trowel, and you just whack the ground, it's only frozen for a couple inches, and then it's normal 55 degree. And if you go near the water or near a young tree, because I saw it by a young tree, I saw the tree. even.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I even saw where when you find the knife, if you go to about a fifth of the way around the circle around the tree, and then you go like 5 feet out, that's where he put something in a jar, and another trophy.
Oh, and that is what you've always felt was, we hate to
Yeah, we
say
don't
it.
need to say. We don't need
Yeah,
to
but
say, but
it
yeah,
was a
yeah.
body
He buried some body part.
Okay. And though that has never been confirmed yet, Donna's been so incredibly accurate in the past that I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened, Donna. In fact, I believe it probably is true.
Yeah, and I describe it more in these. I'm just describing it more, and it's like I got to do a reading where it's just like, okay, I keep trying to be like, just show me where the knife is without making me feel the energy of this murder, because the energy of this murder is even more intense than the energy of the Lori Vallow murders. Like
Right.
the energy that Brian had when he went into that. Oh, and I believe he's guilty, so I'm just going to use his name. He's been charged. I believe he'll be found guilty. I cannot imagine that anybody in society would let this guy walk loose. He's an absolute danger. And I believe if he was let loose, he would at some point decide that he wants to break Ted Bundy's record and just go for it, because he got off on it. He wasn't remorseful. He wasn't anything. It was like the energy explosion from him, his feeling of accomplishment and how glad he was he did that when he looked at their bodies just blew past the whole energy of the top of the house. That's how much energy exploded from him. And he wanted to go kill the other ones. He thought about killing the other ones. He wanted to, but he had put himself on a time schedule. And you can tell by the time he left his house that he had lost 30 minutes having to drive around waiting for them to turn their lights off. And possibly this, I never saw this food driver or whatever, but possibly turning their lights. I did see him going round and round, and I saw him parking in different spots. And I mentioned all that in my readings. Yeah. And
long before it came out in the affidavit, you talked about stuff like that, which was interesting.
Yeah. And like in these other readings, I'm actually even more talking about the actual murders. Like in that first one, I was trying to hide my eyes from having to see, like I was behind him and I was trying to hide my eyes from having to see what he actually did to Xana and Ethan. But in this murder this reading on the 21st, I'm calmly just talking about the murders. And for sure, the girls upstairs were the targets, because I'm sitting there going, he killed the guy first is what I'm saying. That's Ethan, but I don't know that I knew his name. And I'm saying he killed the guy first because he wanted to get him out of the way. But also when I'm hooked to his brain and the feeling of energy towards it is just like matter of fact. Yeah. Him, Ethan and Xana, it was just matter of fact. When he went up the stairs, and I do believe that Kaylee was started in her room and she got up and he shoved her into Maddie's room. That's what I think. Because I talked in that the reading I uploaded, I talked about there being a scuffle with Kaylee, and I did accurately talk about the damage he did to her, which her father talked about.
You did, and you said it before. Sorry to interrupt, Donna, but you said that before it even came out from the parents on Fox News. You said that what he did was so brutal to Kaylee that it was like we'll hear the clip here in a minute, but go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, and it was even worse because I mentioned about his fantasies, and I think in that reading part that I cut out the big chunk and just got more into that. And I'm not sure, because at the time I really wasn't 100% sure who's Kaylee and who's Maddie, just these two blonde girls or whatever. And one of them, he put his hands over her mouth because I guess she wasn't looking, and he made her look in his eyes while he killed her. Like she's right, probably, and he's like holding her because he wanted himself to be the last person that she saw, and he wanted her to know it was him.
Yeah.
So, you know, he is a stalker. And if Idaho does not consider this absolute creep a stalker, they need to change the law, is what they need to do.
Totally agree. It seems like he was there many a times, like many a times. And I'll be showing some of the screenshots and stuff that I captured. And that's, I like to refer to it as like 6 weeks of hell for Donna and I, especially after she like channeled him initially and said, Lauren, he is serial killer energy. And I was like, oh gosh, like that's real creepy, right? Because here we were making videos and stuff. What if he decided to come after one of us YouTube creators, or you just never know. So I know me personally, I was like locking my doors. Donna, I think you were doing the same. And we were just hoping and praying that they would find this guy soon, arrest him, and get him out of, you know, our worries, basically.
Oh yeah, I actually went and bought alarms and put them on all my windows. I mean, I literally was sleeping with one eye open. Not really sleeping, but I really was. I mean, I was scared.
Yeah.
It scared me. What I saw scared me, and to know that this guy was loose, it was very frightening.
Right.
I was so glad when he got caught. I was so glad when he got caught.
I know. And notice all the creepy stuff that we were seeing online, it stopped the moment he got locked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is telling. That is, in my opinion, strong evidence that what we were seeing on the internet was him. I think he was
definitely.
I think he was on Facebook. I think he was operating probably, and people are going to say, no. I think he was operating under the inside looking, the dark. What was the screen name for that? Dark
Papa Rogers. Papa Rogers.
Yeah. And I'll show some of that stuff here in a little bit. But just to tell you that it was really freaky to live through that. And a lot of people that, you know, make YouTube videos that are creators on here, they can probably attest to that. Like, it was really freaky, that whole era when we didn't know who the guy was. All we knew is that 4 beautiful, precious students were murdered in their sleep, pretty much, right?
Yeah, well, they were murdered when they were defenseless, and Maddie might have been the closest to sleep out of the 4 of them. I mean, maybe Kaylee was starting to go to sleep. I think, you know, when it sounds like, according to the affidavit, Dylan isn't sure if it was Xana or Kaylee that yelled, "Someone's here." So I don't know either, but either is plausible, because I believe that Kaylee started in her own bed and then went to that centerway. So she could have yelled it, and you know, the house echoes, you know, and Dylan said she'd been drinking. She didn't know what was going on, but yeah.
I think it's very worrisome that they leveled that house, because when it comes time for trial, what's the number one thing that these jurors are going to want to hear? They're going to want to hear the acoustics of the place. You know, could Dylan have heard, you know, Kaylee from the 3rd story, or, you know what I mean? Things like that. These jurors want to know what it sounds like, and they won't be able to now. They destroyed evidence.
They would imagine a regular house.
Exactly.
See, where when you hear something, you can tell where it's from, but the way that house was made, you can't tell where things are from, because it echoes all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. So disturbing. Oh my gosh. So Donna, going back to this knife, do you remember in that whole 6-week period, the craziest part of all this, when we didn't know who he was, who the crazy guy was, there was a map I found, but there was also coordinates that I found online.
Yeah.
I don't know that anybody has ever gone to look at these particular coordinates, but they honestly seem like they were at some park somewhere in Idaho. Let me see if go ahead.
Yeah, if you find them, I want to write them down.
Yeah, totally.
I have all these Forchan screenshots. For people that don't know, Forchan is quite the site for anything goes type of posts.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we know Brian was in there. He even wrote, "I'll be in shithole Pennsylvania. Good luck finding me." That's
Yes,
what he wrote.
He did write.
I mean, allegedly
Right.
it was him. It would have been a pretty good guess on somebody else's part if they had wrote that.
Yeah, no kidding. Let me look at the list of what you sent me with clips, because I'm going to ask you about some of these. Okay, so you had mentioned that you saw something that had to do with peach, like a peach clue.
Mm-hmm.
What do you
There
make
was
of that?
I don't know.
Okay.
There's two clues. One, yellow.
Yeah.
The word or the color is a definite clue. It came up 5 times in just one reading, I think in the reading on the 21st. It came up 5 times. And Maddie kept trying to give me that clue. And yellow, yellow, yellow. So could it be the name of something? Or, even if she was wearing yellow pajamas and then then the cops would know that maybe it's a legitimate read. I don't know though. It's just she kept trying to show me that. And then in another reading I listened to today, there it is again, yellow. So there's some clue. And there is a place near Anderson that has the word yellow. There's also a place near where that Albertsons is with the name Peach in the street. So I don't know though. I really literally don't know. I just know that those are clues.
Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In the route that you saw him take, let me get this straight. So you saw him go into the house from the front around the side?
I saw him come from up the street. I did not see him come from that upper parking lot. I saw him park up at the street and around the corner. I saw him come up the street. And see, in one of the readings, it sounds like he's the one behind the phone pole. So is it symbolic of, the pictures of him when he's a teenager, he does have a lot of red in his hair.
No.
And now it's brown. And it's like, is it symbolic of 2 personalities or a part of him? And then he becomes this serial killer part of him. And he goes up. Okay, and so in the reading I uploaded, I'm saying he's going up the right side of the house, walking up that little hill and going in the sliding door. In one of these other readings, and I'm going a little further, and I'm saying first he walked over just a little left of the front door, and then he walked past the front door, and then he went up the side. So he still went up the side of the house on the right and in the back sliding door. But it's like he may have checked the lock on the front door before going around. I'm not sure. He may have done that though. And because I'm even saying, if he had gotten in that way, then Bethany would be dead because he would have had to kill people in his way or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Not to mention, so after these murders happen, and you say you saw Ethan get hit first, because you see News Nation, I think they're releasing bad info. They're trying to say that Kaylee and Maddie were hit first, but I have now seen in a screenshot from one of these Facebook groups that one of Ethan's family members said that he got it first, which corroborates exactly what you saw, Donna, that it was Ethan first, then Xana, and then it was Maddie and Kaylee. Is that right?
Yes. And it was all business with Ethan and Xana. It was totally different than the murders upstairs. He went right for the chest. He just plunged it in. There was no hesitation. There was no emotions. It was just focused at his goal, was eliminating Ethan and Xana. And then he went upstairs. And there's where he was having all his grotesque fantasies and wanting them to see him, that it's him killing them. And the things in that reading make me 100% for the death penalty if he's convicted, which I cannot see him not being convicted. This guy is so dangerous. And this could be anybody's children. This could be anybody watching this. This could be your sister. This could be your child. This could have happened to anybody.
Right. Right. Can I talk about something really horrible that you saw that is important to understand just how depraved his mind is? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't want to speak for you, so tell me if I'm not saying it right, Donna. But what
Okay.
you said, I believe in your reading, was that he had like a jar of blood. Is that right? A jar of blood?
Yes.
And he would put it on his parts to
masturbate.
Yes. And
yeah, that's how sick he is.
Yeah.
He's a sicko. And these people out there that are worshiping him and playing these games and telling these lies, I challenge you all to demonetize your channel and sit there every day talking like that. I challenge you. Just demonetize it for 6 months and then come back. You won't, because you make money off lying and spreading conspiracy theories.
Oh, yeah. It's just like those disgusting creators that all day long make money on the Sebastian Rogers case and then call people like me a grifter. I'm like, God, they make like 1,000,000 times more money than I make on your. Who's the grifter? Sorry.
Right.
I digress.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So back. Sorry, I got derailed here.
People watching, though, they need to know that if someone's on there once or twice a day with their new conspiracy theory, they're making money off that.
A lot of money.
Quit believing it. Okay. Yeah. One of them, I watched about 20 of his. What he does is he presents some documents, but then he puts a what if, but he writes it down and he says what if like 3 times. So he's making his disclaimer, but then he starts talking about it as if it's true. Right. And I've had so many people come over and try, oh, you should watch this person. He knows it's a big conspiracy. And it's like, no, it's a serial killer. Okay. I don't know if the guy's being paid or what. This is a serial killer. I 100% believe Brian Koberger is guilty. If you're a creator out there spreading garbage, then that's what you do. I challenge you. I challenge everybody to ask those creators to demonetize their channels for 6 months and come on there every day making up that crap. Yeah. And another creator, what I see that person do is they discount every single thing that shows Brian is guilty, and they keep saying everything that shows he's guilty is fake and a lie and not true. And they're making money. They're making hundreds of dollars every night, and then they push you to donate or buy memberships, and they're making several thousand a month. They're making a living lying to you. Half of them are sociopaths. Some of them are okay people that possibly believe what they say, but a lot of them are sociopaths.
Right.
There's a lot of sociopaths in the true crime thing. I've noticed that. Not everyone, but there is.
There is.
And stop believing it. Wait till the trial. At the very least, if they've put probable doubt in your mind, then just have an open mind, wait until the trial and listen to the trial for yourself. And then you'll see. Yeah. I'm sure they have plenty of evidence against Brian. And it's like, absolutely. I saw the guy. All right. And when I locked eyes with him, go back and look at the pictures when he was first arrested, because he was still in killer mode. Okay, that's his killer mode. You see how different his face is? And now he's on a diet trying to starve himself so he'll look all small and weak in court and get sympathy. He's the most manipulative, arrogant person. He thinks he's smarter than everybody else. All right, that's what he's doing. I can see him doing it. Right? Oh, poor Brian. No, not poor Brian. This is an evil, evil person. That I was even sent you a clip today from the reading. I did a reading on 12/26, and I just remembered on 12/28, 2 days later, I was like, oh my God, you know what? I need to just go on YouTube and warn his mother, because he wants to kill her. If she even mentions this, he's gonna kill her. Like, he is sitting there not wanting to kill this, and he's still in kill mode. He's wanting to kill his mother. And I sent Lauren the clip from that reading, because I'd never listened to it. I did not even listen to it then. And I listened to it for the first time today, and I'm like, he also wanted to kill his coworker with what did I say in there? Do you remember the weapon?
Hold on.
A hatchet?
Was it a cleaver?
A hatchet? Yeah, something like that. Yeah. He was really having urges to kill his coworker. He could have done that too. He could have just went off on a spree. He was just a hairpin trigger away from that. That's it. His mom is lucky to be alive. I am glad they arrested him when they did.
Yeah. Can I say something real quick, Donna?
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're great. I just want to tell the chat real quick that normally when I start the show out, I talk about how I found you, right? About how, I literally witnessed, me and several thousand people witnessed you tell every detail about the Lori Vallow case. Oh, she popped off. I'll talk about it while we wait for her to come back. How I found Donna. A lot of you already know this, but for the people who've never heard, in oh gosh, it was probably like March of 2020. I had clicked on her video. Honestly, I liked to make fun of psychics. I know that sounds really terrible, but I think they're all full of crap. A lot of them are full of crap. And so I clicked on her reading and I listened to it and I go, oh my gosh, this is so nuts. How could this lady say these things, right? And so I got, I don't know, just a little ways through your reading, probably maybe not even a third, not even like a quarter of it, actually. I clicked out of it. I thought it was too grotesque, insane that anybody would even say these things. And so when the kids were found 3 months later, and all of a sudden I'm hearing these details that I already heard from this lady. And I'm like, wait, I think it was that psychic lady. I go back to your to your YouTube channel. The video picks up where it left off. And I'm hearing all this other stuff, and all of it within like 2 weeks. The preliminary stuff is like revealed as true that she said, right? Then we go to preliminary hearing in August, and so much more has been proven true. And then 3 years later, the rest was proven true. We're talking hundreds. It gives me goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. It's so crazy. Hundreds of details over these 12 readings she did.
That's right.
Exactly.
That is true.
Humble. She's humble. That's why I toot her horn, because she's so humble about it. But what I witnessed was the equivalent of like watching aliens land in the backyard. So she's no bullshit. So guys, I encourage you, go listen to her Lori Vallow. You want to see if she's legitimate? Go listen to it. So when she talks about Brian Koberger, it's no nonsense. I believe her. I believe her more than I believe the media. All day, every day, more than I believe law enforcement most of the time too. I mean, you're right before law enforcement. That's a fact.
Like Tammy Daybell. I wrote to the coroner probably 10 times, said, please test her for that tetra whatever poison. And I also wrote the coroner about Alex Cox and asked them to test. They didn't test her for those things. And on Alex Cox, they only tested him for like 5 basic poisons. They didn't test for what I asked them to do. And so it kind of always bothered me, because I know what happened. I know the truth. She showed me like 10 times very clearly what happened, Tammy Daybell.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so I like to tell people that, because anybody who's coming into our this channel right now, they're probably like, oh, a crazy psychic, right? Because that's what everybody thinks. But I'm just here to say that she's not a crazy, like, she's real deal. If you go watch the show Psychic Investigators, Donna is that. She's a psychic investigator. Like, she is awesome. So I just want
the FBI turned over the Rexburg police and the FBI both turned over my work to the district attorney, and they actually had, in Lori Vallow's case, and they actually had a hearing, and they were arguing about my work. And the DA was saying, well, we're not going to be using the visions from a psychic in this anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But the fact is, it's in the court records. My name is in the court records. It is. And so that's actually kind of cool, because in a way that's probably the most you could expect from the FBI. I think it's pretty neat that the FBI submitted this essay I wrote.
For sure. So when I talk about, what she says she saw with Brian Koberger, I believe her wholeheartedly. And you guys should too, because when this trial pops up, you're going to be like, whoa, I heard it first from Donna. It's going to happen. Just watch. And real quick, let me say thank you. Lisa Shelton gifted 5 Sweetie PieLo memberships. Thank you so much, Lisa Shelton. I really appreciate it. And then Queen B, I don't think this is the other Queen B. This is the nice Queen B. Sweetie PieLo, Reverend Donna, you guys are the dynamic duo. She says, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here and supporting us. And thank you for your $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I was going to say to you with the blood. Sorry, I got really derailed on that one. I can't.
Oh, no, it's okay. It's okay.
I can't help it. Stuff gets so crazy that, like, I start thinking about something else. I'm like, oh, wait. But anyway, okay.
Well,
So
sometimes I feel guilty because I also would like to only talk about good things, because I actually am a reverend, a spiritualist reverend, and should I spread love and light? But I have received well over 1,000 letters from people that, the first sentence is like this: I was always an atheist.
Yeah.
Until I watched your readings and a lot of them watched my readings because they had like 70,000 views before way before the bodies were even found. But most people were attacking me and thinking I was insane.
Oh yeah.
But when I watched that, I knew that there must be an afterlife because you proved it to me. You proved it. You said you were talking to spirit and the details that you provided could never have been provided. And so to me, I'm like, those are people who would never go into any kind of church ever. Right.
Right.
But now they're on whatever journey they're on. Yes. But I've opened the door for them. And to me, that feels like a success in that way.
For sure. And remember, recently, Jules of Thought, who I really enjoy, she was one of the first people I ever watched when I came to YouTube. She was doing a live stream about you, Donna, and she was saying, look, I never believed in that. Just basically what I say. She goes, and I watched her be right about these kids, and it blew my mind because that wasn't her thing either. She was a lifelong skeptic like me. And then when you were right about the Suzanne Morphew tree, the oddest tree ever, she said that really shocked her to the core too. So, it's neat how you've proven yourself over the years. Like we've been doing this now almost 5 years, right? You and I both.
Over and over again. Yeah. Gabby Petito. If you listen to that reading, was 100% accurate.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. And I'm not accurate all the time. And any psychic medium, usually if they're receiving things and they might try to interpret it they should tell you what they see and then interpret it. That's what we should do. I don't always do it either, but usually if someone's wrong, it's in the interpretation.
Right.
The bread thing was a hard one. The Coburger bread.
I know.
And honestly, what occurred, and see, I always learn off every reading, but when I was in elementary school, somebody beat me up, right? Okay. It was a boy that was about 14 and I was like in 4th grade. He beat me up. Ooh. And I fell in between I got hurt. And my last name is Lambert and he was calling me Lamburger. Oh. And that came up in my reading, but I did not say it, right? I should have went burger. I might have got his actual name, right? Yeah. So that's just my own little personal thing that I learned, but I was embarrassed to say it because that was a horrible thing that happened to me. And then, and then I'm saying, I didn't say, I'm being shown. I said, I have a feeling of this. I think they did say, they showed me this killer. They showed me him following Kaylee, right? And I described him accurately. And then they placed him in a family bread factory. Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, the killer works in a family bread factory. I should have just said they're placing him in a family bread factory, because if you look up Coburg Breads, which is spelled just like his name without the ER, they have a Wikipedia page. They're the largest family-owned bread bakery in Europe. They serve, coincidentally, Pennsylvania. They serve the East Coast, but they're very popular in New York and Pennsylvania. So, yeah. But for me, that was a hard one too, because I'm still like, that was a bit hard, to my spirit guides. But,
I'm going to show.
They had given me that Lamburger and I couldn't say it because it was when I got beat up, the guy was saying that.
Right. Look at this name, Coburg bread. That's so weird. That is so
I know.
weird.
Largest family-owned bread factory in Europe. So that sent me down some rabbit holes that I didn't need to go down. Like, who's making bread in Moscow?
But you know what? I learned something every time you do it too. It just in the context. It's always, for me, it's always the context. What are you talking about before this main thing? What are you talking about after? And then sort of, figuring out what is the meaning here, right?
It's very important. It's extremely important what comes before and what comes out. And it's also important how I say it. If I'm seeing it just translucent, then it's usually like a sign or just some small thing. Yeah, everything's important. If they're showing it to me or I have a feeling of wondering, that's two very different things. It is like a foreign language. It's literally like a foreign language. And you just learn the more you do it. Like if you're practicing this, a lot of people write to me and they're practicing and stuff, and that you just keep practicing and you learn every time.
Yeah.
You learn more.
When it comes to true crime and these mysterious cases, I think, why doesn't law enforcement get somebody like you for every case? I think they would solve cases way more frequently if they just had a little, a clue here and there. But they're so prideful a lot of times, and we've witnessed that over the years, how prideful they can be. So it's kind of understandable, I guess, but not really. I mean, they can just be so arrogant about it. It's irritating.
I know. So Lauren's called different cops on different cases about things I've said. So she's had a lot of experiences talking to them.
Oh yeah, I get to know what it's like to be you, Donna. They're like, okay, like they just dismiss. It's so ridiculous. But I feel that of all the people I ever dealt with, Ron Ball was quite receptive, but it was probably only because all the info had come out. It was formal. It was known, right, at that point.
Right.
Because were found. So when I said, she's saying there's DNA on those tools in that outbuilding, and then 3 hours later, they go in and they get those. And of course, DNA is on the tools and it's Tylee's DNA. Like that was straight from you. A lot of people already know this in the chat, but I know there's people that have never been here before in our chat to know this. So that's why I'm talking about it again.
I'm really glad that he listened. Glad that he listened, and was glad to be able to help Tylee. Tylee was very persistent spirit, bugging me a lot. Pushing through. No other spirits do that. Barely ever. And Tylee was just really pushing through, wanting help and wanting her mom, wanting everyone to know what her mom did to her.
Right. Yeah. And speaking of that, I feel another persistent situation that came through was with the pool party clue with the Coburg, with the Idaho 4 case. Do you want to talk about that for a moment?
Sure. Kaylee has a very strong personality too, but more vivacious and stuff. I was actually talking about the pool party in that December 21st reading. Was that in the pool party? One of these readings, I was talking about a pool party, and it was in November or December. But I did not. I wasn't even aware myself, because in the readings I do for other people, I don't go as deep into trance, because obviously I have to have a conversation with somebody, right, while I'm doing a reading. So I'm not as deep. So I just knew, though, when I did if anyone's interested about the pool party, I have a reading in my playlist called the Xana Kernodal reading, which I did for her friends. And Kaylee popped through, and we weren't trying to ask for Kaylee. We were trying to ask for Xana and then Maddie, but Kaylee popped through, and she her spirit hand, she grabbed the sides of my face. And she was like, and I'm like trying to look around her, and I'm like, I think Maddie's in the back room filing her nails. And Kaylee's like demanding my attention, literally, and going on and on about this pool party. And so, regardless of what anybody says, I know it matters. I know that matters. And I was also talking about someone blowing fire, and I don't think we have a real answer if Einan Harsh was at that pool party or not. But I know that Brian Koberger was looking for a drug connection. So who knows? Who knows how that plays in?
Yeah, exactly. In due time, I think we're going to find out all those things.
Yeah, I can't wait for that trial.
Oh, me too. And going back to the really creepy thing with the vial of, or not vial, but the bottle of blood that you talked about. What I thought was a real trip was when they went into his apartment, right? In Washington, sorry. When they were scouring, everything and searching, right? They end up seeing that he has blood all over his mattress and his pillow. And that was just like, oh my gosh, Donna. Do you know that?
I know, he's gross. He's gross because, okay, so I saw him take a body part and put it in like the quart size jar.
Okay.
Then I saw him take a little like baby food size jar that he had blood in, and masturbating with it. That's what we're talking. That's the level we're talking about. The worst horror movie you've seen ever in your life.
Yeah.
The scariest movie you've ever seen. This is this killer. And when they went and searched his apartment, he was missing his shower curtain. So after he took a shower, his shower curtain was missing as well.
Yeah. And I even wondered too, could he have used the shower curtain as like a liner in his car so that when he got back in it, there would really be, a barrier between himself and the seat. But honestly, he probably did just ditch it after he took a shower.
He probably did that, but both are true. I think he had like hefty bags and plastic in his, and then put seat covers over the plastic. He took his clothes off. Like I was seeing him take his clothes off. I told people that way back. He put his clothes in a hefty bag. I don't know what it's going to come out with Bethany saying, but he planned this for months. And if it's true that he purchased the knife from Amazon in March before he even went to Moscow, he was planning. He's a serial killer looking for a victim.
Yeah.
It's not that he was a nice guy who got frustrated. He hated these girls he couldn't have, right?
Yeah.
But he was a serial or burgeoning serial killer. Like if he got away with this, he would be killing more. This isn't a one-timer, right? This is a serial killer, and he was planning this for months.
Oh my gosh.
And once he spotted his victim, who was going to be his victim, Kaylee, who, if you remember from the Daily Mail article, Kaylee looked very much like the meanest mean girl at his elementary school, who tortured him and taunted him and got others to bully him. And then while he was going through junior high, through puberty, he's attracted to this girl who's making his life miserable. And now Kaylee Goncalves really looks a lot like her.
Oh, completely.
So there's his victim. He spotted his victim.
Wow. That's
he stalked her by any definition. I read Idaho law. I think Idaho law needs to be changed after this trial to Brian is by any definition a stalker, regardless of what anybody else says. I'm sticking to this.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you know what? I'm looking through the list, Donna, of the clips that you sent me. Is it okay if I go ahead and play the Ethan's clip so people can hear this? This is, again, guys, this is from her November 21st, 2022 reading. This was the second one she did. The first one is the one that she has on her YouTube that has an amazing amount of views, by the way, Donna, over like 480,000 views. I mean, a crazy number, astronomical.
Something like that.
Yeah. So that was her first reading. This is her second. And here is the clip of how she's saying Ethan was killed first. Let's hear it.
He's not waiting until he finds someone to pull. He has it. Just stick it into him. Like someone was walking into there. He would just stick it right into them right then. And it does feel like he kills the guy first, but I mean, we all know that he fought back. So she was waking up while he was being stabbed to death. But when he plunges it into them, it's the same way he does it into
just really hard, big, strong. He isn't messing around. He doesn't hesitate with that knife either. So it's like, why did because he's also swiping. Like he might have whacked one of them. He might have whacked Santa's neck. He stabs the guy super hard, right in the chest. So, okay, let's see what it is. Nice people just really get almost into an animalistic frenzy when they do these things.
I think one of the things that's so interesting about like when you're channeling is how descriptive you are. It's like you take us to that time and place of exactly how it happened. And I think that's why a lot of people are like, is Donna going to do something on this? Can Donna do something? Like they come to me and they're like, please get Donna to do something on this new case or whatever. It's because you are telling the story of what happened to the victims. And it is so unbelievable.
Yeah, because I'm going there.
Yeah.
It's like I have no awareness of my body anymore. I'm just enough in my body to operate my mouth, really. And most of me is in this 3D thing watching this, and I'm feeling all their energy and receiving all their thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually half the readings I've done probably would not have been done if it were not for Lauren, because she's always asking me.
Well, I'm your biggest fan. I really am. I'm sure in the chat we have a lot of your fans though too, but I think I'm the biggest because you proved something to me that I never believed before, and I will never stop talking about it. So when people
I really appreciate that, Lauren. I really, really appreciate that. And I really enjoy working with you and talking with you.
I enjoy it with you too, Donna. Like you are so awesome to work with. And I think you and I jive well together because we're both like really relaxed about things. We don't get all upset over silly, like, a lot of people are really uptight. Neither of us are. And so we just kind of go with the flow. And I think it works really well for us. And I'm grateful that I get to spend time with you on these live streams and that you come and you chat about these murders, because for people like us who are so intrigued by the story, by the dynamic, by the crime that happened, nobody tells what happened to these people better than you, in my opinion. So we really value you coming on here with us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So I'm looking more at the clips that you sent. So we heard Ethan killed. Wait, are these?
As released, nobody would be safe.
Yeah, sleep with one eye open, people. It's serious. This is no nonsense.
Nobody. This could have been anybody's children. This could have been anybody's children. Not a single person in that house deserved to be murdered at all.
No.
They didn't even with the victimology, like I always look at victimology, like could the victim have done anything different? Like Gabby Petito is a very sweet girl. Could she have done anything different? Yeah, it would have been better if once the physical violence happens, you leave, or, even on that trip, once Brian flew home, if she had confided in her parents and had, not like it's her responsibility and not like her fault she got killed, but I look at, there was nothing these people did.
Right.
The Idaho 4 girls, there was nothing that they did.
Yeah.
That brought this on. It was all Brian Kohberger.
Yeah.
All of it. And he's pure evil. He is pure evil. His fantasies are of an extremely sexually deviant, evil, sadistic nature.
Oh, for sure. One time when you and I were doing a live stream, I found this recently. I was reading to you a screenshot that I had found, and it was from after the Reddit account that I believe he was using was deleted. Well, the post remained, but the name was taken off. And I found that clip recently of me and you talking about this. I want to play that for people because I still very much believe that was Brian talking about his motivation, talking about the aftermath of how amazing he felt after he killed them, that he went to work with a new pep in his step. I mean, it was so descriptive and unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to them for a minute while I find that, because I want to play that for the audience. I think it'd be interesting. Okay, I'll just find that real quick. Let's see. So whatever you want to say to them, go for it.
All right. I think I kind of just said it.
No,
what
you did.
what Lauren was talking about when I left to get my plug, about the energy explosion. Imagine, most people have had an orgasm. It's a small explosion of energy, right? It's an explosion. This was an explosion of energy so big,
wow,
that it would blow off the top of the house. And he was extremely satisfied with what he had done. I mean, he stood there before he left the room and stared at them, and he was very pleased with himself. He was on an extreme high, and he wanted to go kill the others, but his time, he had put himself on a certain time frame, and he had used that up, and that's why they're alive. So, here's another thing. See, I was shown in one of those readings that there is a chance of Dylan Mortensen committing suicide before the trial. She's a very high risk. I'm sure her guilt is through the roof.
Oh,
and regardless of whatever reasons, she did not do these murders. Brian did, just like Kaylee's mom said. So stop blaming Dylan Mortensen. Oh, she stayed up. You know what? They were high. They didn't know what was going on. It didn't seem real, and she runs down to Bethany's room or whatever. They're probably telling herself, like Steve Goncalves said, they were always doing pranks on each other. Right. Kaylee the police had already been there a couple weeks before. You think you're going to move into a party house and then call the police because there's a bunch of noise on your roommates? You know how mad they would get? You hear her in the 911 call. Does she sound happy, casual? No, she does not. And maybe it's time to stop victim blaming and blame the actual killer.
Amen.
That's yeah.
I agree. Here's the clip, Donna, of is this you and I? This is probably,
possibly
at least a year ago, middle of December. Let me make sure that I started.
Okay, this one,
Can you hear that?
Possibly.
Right.
Possibly middle of December. Okay, this one I cannot guarantee is from Brian. But what happened is when Brian Koberger was arrested at his parents' house in the Poconos, they quickly, whoever was going on to his tech and stuff, quickly removed his Reddit accounts and a lot of his social media accounts. What was left behind was what we heard shortly after he was arrested. Let me read it. It says, the lack of stories coming from locals, college students, friends, etc. Typically in a murder investigation, people talk to media fondly about the victims, but nobody's talking because the town is terrified. And maybe that was the motive. Hey, I'll show all of you that they don't matter, and I do. I think when they snatch this guy up, it's going to be someone who lives very close by, who has watched the house for more than a year. I don't believe it's a college student, druggie, or anyone who was close to them. To me, it's a stalker, lurker, peeping creep who saw this moment to finally carry out his plan. Neighbors have commented in newspaper stories about how unusually quiet it was on the street that night, unusually so. I think he's been watching the goings-on for more than a year. He's gone through each season, winter, spring, summer, fall. Late at night, I would bet he has practiced his entry, exit, timed what his attack would take, and in each season, he has been there. He craves to be part of the world, but he knows he never will be. He's been watching them move in, move out, have parties, laugh, play music, flirt with boys. He sees the house as the epicenter and reflection of what, I think it's back this way, of that college life he never had. I think he moved there to place himself in the middle of things. Notice this. I think he moved there to place himself in the middle of things. Remember, Brian moved from Pennsylvania to Washington. So that's about one of the main things that made me think it was possibly him. Anyway, we'll carry on. He might be going to work with an extra pep in his step. If I lived in Moscow, Idaho, I'd be looking for that odd duck guy who seems more vocal at work, a little happier, a little more energetic, and happier with himself. I think he's a real loner, and suddenly he has had a slight personality change. And I think he's killed before.
Wow. I mean, that's very insightful, and it certainly could be. And especially, you know how he said, I think he's watched the house and been there and stuff. And in this reading and the other readings I'm talking about, I really truly believe he had actually entered the house. Like he had, watched these people, he knew their basic schedule, and he had just walked right up and been in that house prior to those murders. So that's what I really believe that. I wouldn't, hang my hat on it 100%, like trying to convince people. Like some things I'm like, yes, I did, like killed Ethan first and stuff. But I believe he had been even inside the house.
Yes. And there's another interesting thing going back real quick to that 6 weeks when we didn't know who the killer was, right? And as YouTube creators, we were doing call-ins and stuff like this. Well, on T-Rev's call-in, there was somebody who called in, and it sounds exactly like Brian Koberger. And I know people have said, no, it's proven it wasn't him. Well, I'm going to play you a clip where I did a side-by-side of this audio from T-Rev and then Brian and him calling about a haircut. The pauses in his voice are so very notable in each of this side-by-side these clips. So I want you to hear this, and I want you to tell me if you think it was Brian. Here we go. Oh, let me start it over.
I have court-appointed counsel.
The thing that strikes me kind of weird about all this is that
I have court-appointed counsel.
live in a college town, and I've worked with probably at least 10 Sigma Chi members.
Hi, my name is Brian. Would you be able to give me a haircut tomorrow by any chance?
I have court-appointed counsel.
The thing that strikes me kind of weird about all this is that
I have court-appointed counsel.
live in a college town, and I've worked with probably at least.
You guys get the gist of it. What do you think? Do you think that was similar or him? I think that was him, man. I will never yes, the pauses in the speech are so notable. What do you think, Donna? What's your intuition?
It sounds like him. I think it probably, like, I don't know for sure, but it sounds like him. I would think that it probably was him.
Oh, I think it was too. And let's just say, why would a guy be calling and acting like he has info unless he is involved, right? Like, why would you waste your time?
He wanted to redirect their focus.
Totally. I know. You know what? I need to say thank you. Mar R gifted 5 Sweetie PieLo memberships. Mar R, you're so awesome. You're a great mod for us tonight. And thank you for doing that. That was so kind of you and generous. Thank you.
He was, as Papa Rogers in the Facebook group, he was very, very arrogant.
Oh, totally.
And he was always trying to control the conversation. He thought he was smarter than everybody else. He was trying to determine what other people had to talk about or say. You know, he really believes that he had it all figured out. He planned this down to the very minute detail. I believe as to where he went to bury the knife was already planned. This wasn't, oh, let's go do it. And you know, when he parked his car, he had no fear. There was no fear.
Yeah.
None.
Oh yeah. I'm debating on whether, Donna, we should keep going, like finish up the clips that I think are interesting that you sent me, and maybe not showing them, but talking about them. And then I want to show the audience some more of the Papa Roger weirdness, the inside looking weirdness, and anonymous posts that I found along the way, because I think guys will think it's pretty interesting.
I could probably go for another hour.
You think you can? I think I can.
think so.
Yeah, if you can't, we'll call it. It's fine. It's not a big
Yeah.
deal. Okay, so one of the clips cleans himself. You talk about him cleaning himself. Did you see a shower, a strip down? Do you recall?
Oh, when he went to the other town. So remember I said I saw him washing his hands in the kitchen sink?
Yeah.
Remember, and Dylan saw him leave that way? And then I saw him walk around in a circle on that cement patio and come back in and go down the front stairs. So I believe his knife, he had it out when he was in the kitchen. So he must have unsheathed it right before he came in the door. And so that's why he went back out that sliding door to look for his sheath. But then when he didn't find it, he came and went out the front door. But I remember I said in the kitchen, I saw him rinse his hands off in the sink. But then in that reading the other day, I was saying he went to a town about an hour south of there or something like that, or an hour away, where he could clean himself all off. So he must have cleaned himself better, right? And then I think the police at that time believed that he might have spent like 10 minutes somewhere near the Arboretum. Remember, they were asking anybody near the Arboretum that might have. So they believed that. And then Gray Hughes, who's a super mean YouTuber, but at least he's on the right side. And he makes really good maps and he makes really good 3D things that I don't see anyone else do. So, but he insults everyone every couple of minutes. But anyways, he made a map. And when Brian's phone turned back on at Blaine, Idaho, outside of Moscow after he left Moscow, Gray figured out that I think he said there was like 13 to 17 minutes. Even if you were driving fast or whatever or slow, there's like 13 to 17 minutes of room that Brian had somewhere to like ditch his clothing, his bag of clothing. But I believe if he put his knife somewhere, he went back for it the next day, that next morning when he left the house at 9 a.m. and went back to Moscow. He either went back and got his knife or he just put his clothes and kept his knife, because I truly believe that when he went home again in the morning after he went to Moscow at 9 a.m. He comes back home for 3 hours and then he leaves again at noon and goes back down by Genesee, south of there. And then, I mean, it's hours go by, hours and hours where he could go hiking up in those woods and have his little ceremony to bury the knife and the blood and all that. And, but I saw that he kept the small baby food size of blood. And I believe he took that to Pennsylvania with him.
Oh, I'm
not positive he did, but I saw him and it was in the context of, he was hiding in his room and where he was at his mother's. So it would have to be an earlier time. And I think it was in this context. So I think even when he got pulled over by the police, I think he had that blood with him.
Oh my gosh, he must have been shitting a brick.
Huh. Oh yeah. That's why we're going for Thai food. What are you doing? We're going for Thai food.
He looks so scared. And we were talking earlier about how scary he looked. When they first nabbed him, I thought, oh my gosh, this is like, he's got the face of what nightmares are made of. Now, maybe
he's not showing that face in court, but that face that you see when he's being at his extradition hearing or in his mugshot, that smug, arrogant, killer, mean, emotionless. That's the real Brian. That's the Brian. He needs to be never in the free world again.
Right. Real quick, I want to read you a really rude comment I had. I don't know why I want to read this. I just do. Just to show everybody how thick the Brian Koberger fan club is. Okay, like there's a lot. It's horrible. I know. So this person says, this pisses me off. So they're responding to one of my videos, okay, commenting on. This pisses me off. They have no evidence against Brian. Stop accusing him of this crime. What a crying ass shame. He's been being convicted and put in front of a firing squad before he's even had his day in court. You are ridiculous, sweetie, and shame on you. all my opinion, of course. It was like, oh, okay, I got time for this. And I couldn't help myself. I had to write her a novel back. Sometimes I do. Usually I don't even entertain the trolls, but this was so ridiculous. I sent you my reply. It wasn't very nice, was it?
Well, you know what? Those people deserve it. And I know I'm the same way. It's like catch me at a certain time and I might be pretty smart ass right back. But then other times I just like delete them or block them or, I don't have time for it. But sometimes, remember I sent you one the other night where I responded. It was like late at night, some lady. I imagine these people just stuffing cookies in their mouth, slamming on their keyboard. They have lost touch with the fact that these are real people. And that this guy is pure evil. And, even Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker in LA, right? He was married, I think. By the time of his trial, he was married. Yeah. Or, maybe shortly after. He had like 12 different women offer to marry him.
That's insane.
And after he went around breaking in people's houses and murdering people.
Oh my gosh.
So what about this serial killer? And probably Ted Bundy probably had a fan club too. It's sick. It's sick. What are they attracted to? What is it they're attracted to?
They like to live life on the edge, I guess. Like they like feeling like worried that somebody's going to murder them in their sleep. I don't know. Or you know what it is? They know they're untouchable in the sense that they never have to live with them or cohabitate in any way because they're locked up. So they like the thrill. And they like to know maybe about the crimes. Maybe they're true crime junkies. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be. I'm sure that plays a factor in some of them for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to say hi to my friend Mike DeMann. He is awesome. He's on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. He's got really great, what do you call it? Speech analysis videos he's been doing on the Proudfoots. You guys, go subscribe. He posted a wonderful video. Also, Lauren from Facebook, she's on X. You need to follow her too. There's a lot of great people on there. And Donna's on there too. Donna, do you go on under, is it the name Shadow Band? Are you going under that name still?
I am Shadow Band on there. So when I did the World War III reading in 2022, I was spamming people. I'm guilty. But my account, I have not had a single new follower on Twitter since I got frozen for spamming 3 years ago. And I don't know why I still go on that account, but so I just renamed it Shadow Band because that's what it is. And I don't think most people even see it. I did put a reading about Seth Rich on there. It got 1,200 views, which isn't a whole lot, but I took it off, because I got scared. But it's still over there on Rumble. So if you go on Rumble, if you're interested, you can go on my channel and there's a reading about Seth Rich, the Washington D.C. young man who gave all of Hillary's emails to WikiLeaks. So there's a reading about him, his death.
That was really something.
Yeah, that's over there on Rumble still.
Do you think?
But yeah, I need to make a new profile. Really, I'm just a real type B personality when it comes to social media.
I get it. Social media is hard to deal with. I'm not good at it either. Like it's a lot. I think if I was better about it, then boy, make life easier. But I'm just not. It's not my thing. But whatever.
Yeah, a lot of people go every day, and it'd be nice even if I did the once a week. I'm like once a month I go and do it. But I love connecting with all of you guys. Like I love connecting. That's why I even bother. Is I feel so good. All the people I've met, some really nice people through this.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my friends. Yeah, you too. You too. You've become one of my really wonderful friends that I cherish. I'm so fortunate. I would have never met you otherwise. Our worlds would have never collided in any way or form otherwise. So really cool. Really cool. Oh, let's see. Okay. What was I going to say? I think I was going to ask you one more thing. Where's the list? Here we go. All right. Rage disorder. You had a clip about his rage disorder. Do you want to expound on that? And that he's a runner? That was interesting too.
Oh yeah, I know. I wish I had uploaded these readings. It would mean so much more to people. But yeah, I'm sitting there saying he knows how to walk softly in the snow because he's a runner. I literally said that on 11/21 in that reading.
I know. Please upload it. Would you upload it? I mean, everybody in the
I
audience.
can upload them. I can make a bunch of shorts or something and upload them, you know, because it's like the people who know my work, if they're interested in it, and the files are all dated. So they have the format that shows the year and the month and the day.
They're
Yeah. And then another thing I thought was interesting was I was talking about his knit cap.
Okay.
And someone had asked me about that in my comments, and I didn't remember one way or another from my reading if I said it the first time or not. She's like, "Did you see that knit cap or whatever?" But then there it is in the 11/21 reading. I'm going, he's wearing a knit beanie, the kind that can roll down into a mask. I literally said that.
You know,
it's like,
when you were channeling the Lori Vallow case, and I think you did over 12 readings, isn't that right?
something like that. I did a lot. I really did more than was necessary.
Well, and every time you got more details, like how you described the outbuilding, all that kind of stuff. So I think if you do upload these, it's believable that because every time you get more and more and more. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I might upload some, especially if they're not the super grotesque ones, because I feel bad about it. It makes me sick. But yeah, the ones like that, and what else? There was some interesting little tidbits in there. I'm just like, oh man. Then they're not in my head right now, but
that's okay.
You know what I could? Oh, I can't look at the list. Okay.
Oh, because it's on your phone, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I turned off my computer.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, in that one, I am talking more about his rage disorder and feeling his rage while he's doing the killings, and
right. And then what came out shortly after he was arrested was that he had this condition called visual snow, which I still don't altogether totally understand, but I guess it's like he sees, is it specks or something in his eyes? Like he sees things that aren't there. Is that what visual snow is? I don't even really know much about it. I should probably research that.
Yeah, he sees the specks. Like if you look at the old TVs where they used to call it fuzz.
Yeah.
It's fuzzy.
Oh, okay.
Like that's he sees everything a little fuzzy, which is maybe why he went right past Dylan. Because the periphery is actually even fuzzier.
Yeah.
So he's seen the center more. So so lucky for it's amazing she's alive. It is amazing.
Totally.
And you know what? Whatever her, if she was on drugs or alcohol or what, she's 19. She was 19 years old. And someone comes in and slaughters all her roommates. She has no idea what's going on. It's like, I cannot believe it when I hear people insult her, because what if she commits suicide? What if she does? Would they even care then? Probably not. But I care. I care right now. And that influences what I say. I don't like seeing people bullied, on the internet.
For sure. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I just thought a couple of these things. Let me see. Maddie across the valley, knit cap. Oh yeah. Oh, the knit cap one was in the December 26th reading.
December 20th. Oh, okay. So probably was that your third, fourth, fifth?
It says 12/26. It might have been in the other reading too, though. Let me see. Does it say? I can play that.
So I'm seeing the person walking up the side of the house. He seems like he's wearing a knit cap. All these other guys are wearing baseball hats. But the knit cap that goes down in the mask or whatever. So
Did you hear
the person walking up?
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Was it blurry?
No, it was very, very clear. It was good.
Oh, do you want to hear the one that says Mother Extreme Danger? I think that one's good.
Please,
okay.
Please. Yeah, it's great quality.
The mother of this person is in extreme danger of like a meat cleaver to the head. So is a coworker that might jokingly accuse. Like they're just joking, but the person thinks, oh, they really know or something, and then just hits them in the head or hits them in the arm or cleaves their arm or cleaves the side of their neck or, like that.
So that coworker the coworker has no idea
how lucky he is.
And remember, they were giving him a hard time.
Yes.
And he was thinking of killing him. And
Well,
he might have.
doesn't he end up getting canned and then he goes back to Pennsylvania? That's what I've always heard.
Something like that. I could play the energy explosion one.
Oh yeah, play it, please. Great.
This is from November 21st.
Yeah.
And I can't say that. I'm not going to say that publicly. I'm not going to do anything that could potentially interfere in this case. And I haven't felt that way. Like on Tylee, I knew it was a reverse where they're not going to ever find the bodies except if I do this or whatever. Because, I mean, these spirits are in my room pushing. And this is the opposite where I feel like if I were to make things public before a certain time, it's like right now there's still an explosion of energy. There's still an explosion of energy. And if you can explain that. The energy of this person who did this. And it's like that explosive energy is all throughout the house in those upper 2 stories. It's they're showing it to me like this big disc that's just enveloping that entire area and the air outside. And in that energy, it's still very active. You know, it's like there's much to be found or done or whatever. And I have spirit energy on my legs. I'm along the right line, but I'm not like 100% accurate. Maybe talking a little too much off the okay, so they're saying it's okay, just settle down. The spirit guides are nice.
Donna, would you explain for the people who maybe are new here, when you say I have spirit energy on my legs, there was some jagaloon once who was making fun of that, mocking that. But that is a very important thing that happens to you when you're getting confirmation that what you're saying is right. Is that correct?
Yeah, so it's almost like they're playing piano on my legs. Okay. So there's all different kinds of energies. They communicate like you're communicating with your spirit body to somebody else's spirit body, and sharing information, telepathy. And also they communicate in multiple ways, and one is physically. So it's like it's actually even a different location. Like if I'm kind of along the right lines, but I don't have it exactly right, but it's along those lines, they'll kind of give me a little squeeze about my right knee. And then it's like, if it's like exactly 100% on point, they'll be giving me chills on both legs. And then there was something about Tammy Daybell when she was giving me something that I said, and it was like energy from it was like chills from my toes to the top of my head, like really intense full body chills. It was like, so when I'm getting really chills on both legs, and I don't always say it because it's like, I just say it sometimes, you know, if there's a little lull for a second, I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting chills on that. Or like, it's an emphasis. It's like an exclamation mark, like, you know. So yeah, it's all a foreign language, and the ways that they communicate, they can even communicate through your smell. And I've even seen like a word, but I don't hear it. It's like I'm seeing it floating in the air and stuff like that. Or remember on this, I'm like, in one of these readings, I'm like in Ethan and Zana's room, I don't know why I see a hunter walking by in the room. And then it was like later we find out that it was the neighbor Hunter, or the brother Hunter, but it was, yeah. So it was either Ethan's brother or the neighbor named Hunter. It was one, they're both named Hunter, that went into the room and saw the bodies. So I was seeing, and you're looking at that when you're kind of out of your body and you're looking at that, you're in a multi-dimensional thing. You can be seeing more. That's why the opacities matter, because you can be seeing things that are you're supposed to be seeing that are current for that, but you can be seeing the future and the past as well.
So interesting. Yeah. Now, we kind of touched on this very briefly earlier, but you talk about a point where you're in the room, and I think it's when Kaylee and Maddie are getting killed. And you say that it's like, I don't know if this is exactly right, but it sounded like you said something like, you turn your head and then all of a sudden it flashes to a different person. Can you explain that? How you felt?
Oh yeah, which one was that? It was weird. It was like there was a couple times in the house where I'm like, where is that guy? Where's well, remember one time in the kitchen on the one I uploaded, I'm like, is this guy doing this alone? Like there was something weird, like I didn't know. And then and I think was it that one of the clips I sent you? It was a reading. I said, and then I looked back and he was gone.
Yeah.
So I'm still in the room, and a minute I looked at him, and then I looked away, and I looked back, and he was gone.
Yeah, Donna,
I don't know the meaning of that.
Yeah, it's really weird. If you have your audio files with you in front of you, I think it's a Kaylee clip, isn't it? Where you describe Kaylee, and then
wanted her to see him. That
maybe
one?
it's that one. It could be. It's something like that.
I'm not sure because none say Kaylee, but it might be. This is about the murders.
Okay.
Wanted her to see him.
Oh no, that's just.
Okay.
To see him. Let's see. Rage disorder.
Let me see. I wish
Watch them argue this as some kind of excuse.
Okay.
Oh, he has rage disorder.
Oh, I know.
So yeah, he has rage disorder. I mean, I've just seen him stabbing one of the girls, and it's like, gee whiz, you know. It's pretty, a lot of anger while he's doing it. I could see what the coroner meant. Besides just the number of stab wounds or whatever, it's just like rage. So yeah, he has rage disorder. Let me see. None of them actually say Kaylee. So I don't know.
I should have.
Confusion. I named it confusion. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, let me find it. Confusion. Where is it?
I think it's the fifth one down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There it is. Confusion.
Okay.
That's why I keep feeling like he might stab Kaylee, but then when he turns to walk to the other room, it's not him anymore. That's the weirdest part. Like, was there two of them? I only saw one go up to the house and in the sliding door.
Yeah, so there's some confusion there. It's not like I know every single thing, that's for sure.
Right.
You know, yeah. I see what they show me.
Yes.
You know, and that confusion was in that reading and the other reading. I was confused. Maybe it's the multiple personality or something. I don't know.
I was wondering.
I really don't know. Yeah. And statistically, most serial killers work alone.
Right.
Statistically, but I mean, there's been some exceptions to that. So it makes me wonder. So is he like? Does he have dual personalities? This guy.
That's what it sounds like from your reading, honest to God, like a split personality or something. Because you also talk about this redhead guy. You go like, wait, is this the same guy that was outside? Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. I was confused, and I just don't know the answer for sure. Like, I tend to think maybe because in that reading I'm seeing him coming from, and in the other reading I saw where he parked too.
Yeah. And
he was parallel parked, and he came from up the street and around the corner. And in this reading, I'm seeing him coming from up the street. I've seen him going behind the phone pole and then walking to the house. So in this reading, which was 3 days after the first reading, which is uploaded, it seems that it's the same person, which would lead me to wonder. And remember how his friend said, when he got addicted to heroin and then he was, he lost like 100 pounds and then he came back to school. He was a totally different person. They barely recognized his attitude, he turned into this real bully. And this, I mean, what if he'd done these pacts with the devil? He shared some music about the devil, kind of worshiping the devil or whatever at some point when he was a teenager. He may have. I think more people bring on demons by their thoughts. The demons are attracted to their thoughts, and the demons will give them more thoughts like that and assist them. And but I didn't see anything like that. I'm just saying he's very, very, he's so much more evil than people comprehend.
Oh, for sure.
And then every time I listen to these, and I'm just like, oh my God, he has to be convicted.
Right. Another validating thing that I think you expressed well in that first reading you did was about his parents and about the fact that they were scared of him, right? That they really feared him. And was it that they suspected him too? Did you pick that up, Donna?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were talking behind his back about whether he was guilty or not. And it turns out the sister said they were. Remember, the sister was interviewed and she said, yes, they were talking. She believed it was him. And the mom, they didn't say for sure which way. She kind of leaned towards it could be, but then the father didn't want to hear it. The father, so they were all talking about him, just like I said. And the mom's maiden name is Italian. Remember I was saying he was Caucasian with a little Mediterranean mixed in?
Totally.
Yeah, his mom's maiden name is Italian. I mean, so she's Italian.
That's so interesting. And then another thing I feel was very validating about what you said was you said, has he left? Wait, you said like he's left town or has he left town? And of course he did, right? December 14th.
Yeah, I said, did you leave? Well, no, I said, did you leave town? I think that was after the murder, like when he went on all the way down to Genesee or Unionville or whatever. I think I was seeing that, like he was going somewhere, like across the valley, and I think that's what I was talking about. I know because I've seen that. It's like, were they showing me the future? And I think it's probably the trip he made after.
For sure.
The thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, Donna, I'm going to start showing some of this interesting stuff that kind of ties it all together. Because I know it's probably a matter of time before you start kind of fizzling out on me. And I will probably do the same because I'm still very sore from what I did the other day. But anyway, okay, I'm going to share this. Thank you for being here again. I really love having you on. It's always interesting.
Oh, no, I appreciate it, Lauren.
For sure. Awesome. Okay, present full screen. Hopefully that doesn't, you can see everything, right? Let me know if you can't see this.
Me?
Yeah.
I can't even barely see the phone. I can see your little face moving around. It's like littler than my pinky now.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
You'll have to read it.
Okay, so I'm going to go through this. The Idaho student murders, Idaho 4. So this is a screenshot that very early on, before the FBI, law enforcement, whoever scrubbed all of his online accounts, this is who he was following on Spotify. Kaylee Gonsalves, 652 followers she had. Maddie Mogan, 869 followers. Here is the screenshot of Brian Koberger's very established account. He had 214 followers on here. And he was following 4. Among those 4 was Jack Harlow, Nirvana, Kaylee Gonsalves, and Maddie Mogan. You notice his likes: studying. He was still doing the school thing. And the gym. He was always working out, running, doing his thing. Like, he was very physically active. Of course, losing 100 pounds, being overweight before and losing that kind of weight that he lost. I can imagine he loved to exercise. And remember, Donna, the neighbor that lived above him commented on how she would hear stuff all hours of the night, him moving around, probably practicing his entrances and his exit and the way he would,
Well, she specifically said every single night at 3 a.m., he would get up and run around the apartment for like an hour. So I believe he was training his body to be able to wake up in the middle of the night and do that running. And he was known to be able to run a mile in 8 minutes. He liked to run at night, but this neighbor said every night at 3 a.m. he did it. but
Yes.
she didn't feel comfortable asking him to stop.
For sure.
So I
For
think
sure.
that he was shaping his body to be able to function at top performance when he did this murder that he was planning for months, if not years.
And timed it out beautifully. Beautifully timed it out. And somebody just asked, is this real? Yes, what you are seeing is 100% real. This is authentic. This really, really came from Brian Koberger's account. I mean, look at how many posts he had. Studying, 3,660 likes. It was a very established account, and he was only following these 4 people: Maddie, Kaylee, Nirvana, and Jack Harlow. This is authentic. This is no bullshit.
Yeah. And there's another one. I think it was on his TikTok. It was like right when he got busted before they made 20 more fake accounts. It was his real account that I think got taken down. But he was following all these knife fighting channels.
Oh.
On how to fight with a knife. And then one of them even had like a picture of it. I don't know. Apparently the apple can be symbolic for cutting for a woman's breast or whatever. And I don't know, there was references to that in what he was following. So he was following knife fighting channels too.
That's so trippy. Wow. Okay, so here you guys, probably a number of people have seen this, but bear with me. Some of it you'll have seen, some of it you probably haven't. Okay, so here was a clip. I think this was from Fox. Not that we trust any news network anymore, but okay. So it said, Koberger, 28, allegedly returned to the crime scene at least once following the heinous act, according to police affidavit. Now new footage of a white sedan driving near the home the day after may correspond with that theory. A Fox News digital camera recorded a brief sighting of a car heading up road next to the Moscow house. The vehicle can be seen at the top of the video frame as 2 law enforcement officers converse near the side of a field at around 2 p.m. on November 14th. So this is just the day after.
Yeah, he was creeping the scene.
He was creeping, absolutely. So this is kind of interesting. Remember how I told you guys that there were these coordinates that I found, and you guys will see the coordinates coming up soon. But this is so interesting, this location, that it was circled and it was posted online, and you see that the Washington state line is just over here. I think it's over there. Or wait, is it over here? Anyway, this very much seems like it could have been his path, right? That after the murders are committed and he goes and what Donna explained, he gets himself cleaned up and he probably trashes his clothes and all that craziness. He very well could have buried the knife there, Donna. Or
he could have buried it and went back, that being the smart thing to do in case he got pulled over.
Right.
And then got it the next morning. Or he could have kept it with him and just tossed all the clothes and everything else. Right. Either way, I don't know. I don't know for sure. That's the reading I got to do, is see exactly what tree in Idaho. There's a lot of trees in Idaho, but see if I can find any more definite, because I 100% believe he buried it.
Yeah, and then this inside looking, I cannot tell you how many posts this inside looking account made that were exactly not only what Donna has said, that Donna said actually in the very beginning. So maybe he was listening to readings. I don't know. But honestly, it seems like it was Brian. So right here, it says inside looking. This is a screenshot from 10 days in, I guess. Killer went straight to Xana's room. It was not by accident. And when he describes in his posts what happened, he's very positive, like unequivocally, like he knows exactly what happened, and he's telling you in the most arrogant, pompous way.
He's very arrogant.
Yes,
that is part of his personality. He's very arrogant.
Yes. And then down here, I don't know if you, I don't expect you to be able to see this, Donna, because I know you're looking at the tiniest of screens, but down here, when his name was typed into Snapchat, they typed in, oh, that was weird. All of a sudden it got weird. Okay. They typed in Papa Roger, and what pulled up was Brian Koberger. Now, I cannot 100% say that was Brian Koberger, of course, but I found that and I thought that was so weird. I found that shortly after he was arrested. So just wanted.
Oh, you mean like when he was arrested? So
After
he was sending out Snapchats.
Yeah. He was doing Snapchats. And the name was Papa Roger. So in my opinion, Inside Looking and Papa Roger, one and the same. That's
Oh,
my
I
opinion.
believe both of them are Brian. I believe both of those are Brian.
Yeah.
And also the one who said you won't find me. I'll be hiding in shithole Pennsylvania. I believe that was Brian.
Hell yeah, it was Brian. I agree. Okay, now
and you know what I even wonder is, remember the U-Haul that the cops used to take out some of the stuff they said they were going to give back to the families? And remember it said Pennsylvania on the U-Haul? Yeah. And I don't know if anyone knows the date, but I want to figure out the date of that and see if it's before or after the date when they had him as a suspect, when they spotted his car, or when they started looking at him as a suspect, because it's either the most bizarre synchronicity,
yeah,
or they did it just to mess with them. Either way, that's what I want to see.
Very possible. Yeah. I feel like you're talking about when they rented that U-Haul. I think that was very early on, wasn't it? Like,
I know, it said Pennsylvania on the side. Remember? Isn't that weird?
Right.
It was so weird. I mean, if that was truly an accident, that is a trip.
Yeah, that is. Okay, so here are some of these posts. So this is from 11/21. Oh, coincidentally, the day of this reading you were talking about, Donna. So somebody wrote, and I don't know who this is, but let me just be clear that a lot of this was very interesting. It sounded like it was coming from the mouth of the killer. He says, the person says, yes, he most certainly did. And I guarantee you, if they ever release the exact cause of death of the first person he killed, the dude sleeping with the girl. Okay, on 11/21, we didn't know that. In fact, we hadn't even heard Donna's reading yet. Okay, to say that it was that the dude was the first one that got killed. It was Ethan, right?
Right.
Exactly. And then he says, or whoever says, you will hear it was one swift knife stroke up and in. Anything else was incidental. He then moved his attention to the girl. Dude never knew what hit him. He had defensive wounds, but well. Okay, so that was one really strange. And again,
that goes right with my reading.
Yeah, and it's before you even
saying he was all business. It was all business.
Yes. And this is before you even released your reading, Donna. So that's
why he went in there to get Ethan out of the way, so he could do what he wanted to do upstairs.
Yeah. Okay. So then the next one is, he's not local, but if they followed the trail I marked out, they might well have found where he parked his getaway vehicle. But I see they need to start local and work out. Elimination. Also, he has strict routine. The gear he wears during the main event. Carries the means to pack that shit up carefully and changes. Running dogs via that route could be interesting. He didn't ditch his shit there, but if he could have dropped something else or stopped to take a smoke and calm down, so there would be indication of such standing around for a bit. I remember reading that going, that's weird. That was also from the 21st. Okay. Now something from Inside Looking. He, with certainty, says that Ethan Chapin was not in the hallway. And they says, in my opinion. And as you described it, Donna, and as his family member described it, he was in his bed when he was killed. That's how you saw it too, right? Psychically?
Yeah. In the first reading, I believed he was, I thought he was asleep. Or no, remember I said he's waking up and going, what the fuck, or something like that. And then Brian just goes and stabs him right in the chest. And this one, I'm seeing him just go in there and do it. I mean, there's no hesitation. It's all pre-planned. There's no fear. There's no, everyone thinks it's this big interaction. It's not. He went in there to kill him and kill Donna. And then so he could go do what he wanted upstairs.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now we have somebody in the chat who says, stop it. It was not BK. BK is innocent.
Save it. Save it.
Save it.
Just save it. Keep an open mind from the trial and know that you've been brainwashed by people who've been sitting on YouTube making hundreds of dollars every night spouting lies to you.
Yeah.
Save it. Go over to the other channel and stick it up their ass. I'm done. I am done. I'm not putting up with it.
Yeah. No, totally. You know what? I don't know if I have, oh, shucks, hold on. I don't have a very clear, I can't, wait, hold on. Sorry. I don't think I can see this clear enough. Did I just not? I'll try to read around this. I didn't put this clip in very clear. Maybe I can adjust it. Just a minute. I think I can. Yeah, I think I can. Hold on. Can I move that? Oh, good. Okay, I moved it over. So this, let me go back to present. Okay. The reason they are not telling you some things is that the FBI suspects this is a serial killer case and they don't want to tip anyone off. By the way, this is from 11/18. This is from 5 days in to the murder case. Okay, so the FBI suspects this is a serial killer case. They don't want to tip anyone off about what exactly makes them think that because he left certain calling cards. Meanwhile, the lot of you are invested in the most pointless stuff like the 911 call or the ex-boyfriend as a serial killer is rolling around. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. The ex-boyfriend as a serial killer is rolling around the area, attacking, maiming, and killing, where each time it seems to get worse. The prevailing theory is that this is someone with military training, male, young, well-conditioned, probably around 6 feet tall and strong, probably played, and I think it says high impact. Let me get it. Does it say high impact? High impact sports in high school. He walked each room and killed all 4 with focused attacks on arteries. He understands kill points.
Exactly. He was, the second he was arrested, I went right on there. I saw his TikTok before they made a bunch, within hours, they had a bunch of fake ones. His real TikTok, he was following multiple knife fighting things where that's what they train, kill points. I mean, this guy trained for a long time to do what he did.
Yeah.
And you know, that's interesting in the other one where he said he's killed before. Yeah. And it's like, I've thought of doing a reading. His energy is so intense. Like, I never thought anyone would be more intense than Lori Vallow, but his energy is so intense that I dread the effect on my body to go back into it. Like, I just show me where the knife is. I don't want to see that again. Yeah.
I know, completely.
But that sounds just like him.
I felt, yeah. And at the time when I was finding these, I would screen record them because I never knew what the future would hold. And I figured there would come a day where they'd catch the guy, and I wanted to go back and compare and say, and look at it and say, okay, who was the guy? Was he in these chats? And I mean, a lot of these seem very possibly Brian. That's why I held on to him.
That's really good foresight. And it's good you have them organized. Like I have a folder of 4chan comments, but not a single one is labeled. Even these readings weren't labeled.
Yeah.
You know, most of them were not even labeled. They were just audio files in there that I was clicking through the other day. And so, yeah, that's good the way you've organized them like this.
Thanks. And there was one, I think I've told you guys about this before. In one of the 4chans I'd gone into, one of the threads, there was an actual, I've said this before, how do I say it colorfully, or we'll say cryptically, a vagine, and it was cut off. And I thought, oh my God, is this guy like holding on to body parts? And of course, by that point I had heard your reading and what you said about the body part, but it was a different body part. And I remember going, oh, this is sick. As soon as you said he was serial killer energy, I was like, I knew who I was looking for, because I trust your insight. I trust your insight over anybody, really. You know, when it comes to these cases, like, you're top notch. So I knew what we were looking for was a serial killer. And every time I'd see something that sounded serial killer like, I would screen record it. And that's
horrible. I mean, people put some horrible stuff on there.
It was disgusting. And I have that somewhere in my computer. I don't think I deleted it. I have it.
Wow.
Really gross. Really gross. Now here's some more from Inside Looking. Again, he knows, it's like he knows exactly what happened. So he says, killer went straight to Xana's room. It was not by accident. Then somebody says, is this killer on these boards? And he says, speculation. They are on one of them 100%. Then they're asking multiple suspects for multiple victims. And then he says speculation, one killer. Like he really
So
knew.
it probably was just him, and then maybe he has multiple personalities or something. Like he slips into that killer mode.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I'm not positive, but I lean towards that maybe.
Right. Right. And that's probably what it is, honestly.
Probably. Statistically speaking, most serial killers operate alone. Most.
Right.
Not all of them, but most. Yeah, I was probably seeing the redhead as that shows who he was, but now he's like becoming this monster he wants to be or something.
Yes.
Or multiple personalities.
Oh, see, that's what I kind of think too.
Kind of sounds like it when I'm like, I look over and he's there, and then I look away and I look back and he's gone. Like, what is that about?
So bizarre. I know. So this particular clip, I don't know what to make of it. So I'm just sharing it so you guys can see it. I don't know if this goes back to body cam. Maybe you guys know. But when I saw it, it was really weird. This is still before Brian was nabbed. And there was a lot of speculation that he had tape recorded these murders. I would see that all the time in different threads and stuff, that there was a GoPro footage. And we still don't know if that is even true. Obviously.
I wondered that myself.
Okay. Did you ever feel like you saw that psychically or no?
I don't remember. I have to listen to these because once I found all these readings, like, okay, I took the clips out of the first one and then I took the clips out of that one from the 26th, but the other ones I'm just sitting there listening to, and it's like, I got to go back and then really, really listen. Because some of the stuff I don't remember independently. And then I listen to these readings and then it all kind of bubbles up to my conscious mind. And then I, remember, I see what I saw, but I'm walking around like my brain, it's a different part of my brain or something.
Right.
Kind of weird, but it's different.
For sure. And I wonder if he did tape record this. Cause like, look at this video. Again, I don't know how valid it is, how that we can verify it really, but let's just look. It's pretty weird. It feels like somebody with GoPro camera hooked to them, going up to the home. It's totally, I believe, the layout. Because look at that overhang. What do you think, Donna? Do you think that's the home?
Now, when was this put up?
This is from 12/19. This is like almost 10 days.
See, anybody could have made that one and put it up. Does it have any words with it or no?
No, but it does look like a person approaching that back sliding glass area, but I don't know positively. So I'm not going to say it is. It's not a hill I'm going to die on, but.
Right. I'd like to, if you email it to me, I'd like to look closer. Or actually, I can watch this later on a big screen. I'd like to look closer. And I've always kind of wondered that too. And also if he was in the house and he had set up the spyware from his neighbor. Remember his neighbor, a female said she had been broken into, but somebody moved stuff and didn't steal anything. So Brian offered to set up a surveillance camera for her. And she said he was spying on her through that surveillance camera that he set up. So he's totally capable. And in fact, his whole essay he wrote when he applied to intern with the police department was that he wanted to help small towns with this kind of technical stuff.
Oh yeah. So what?
And why would you not film it? I mean, if you're all into that and it's turns you on.
Right,
but I don't know one way or another. I don't know. That's something I've wondered. I'll have to listen real close and see.
Okay. Yeah. Now, Angel D, she's been a long time listener on probably both of our channels. She's awesome. She reminded me just now of a couple years ago when I found, and maybe you saw this too, Donna, there was, it was a 4chan post and it had a bunch of different sets of breasts, I think it was. And they had dates on them. Different dates, bizarre dates that were random. I think I still have that screen recording, to be honest. So anyway, you reminded me.
I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
And I don't think I ever showed it because it was a little too graphic, but.
Yeah, they'll strike you or something.
Yeah, it was so, it's so hard to narrow a location, especially in these places where there's lots of bodies of water and there's lots of trees. It's like.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, totally. All right, let's see. So the next screen. Okay, let me get back to present. All right, let me make sure you guys can see. Okay, so I had written as a post, remember that riddle on 4chan? The answer was garden. Guess where the freak lived? Garden Road. Might be a coincidence, or it might not be. I didn't get a good copy of it, but you'll see it, I think, on one of the next screens. This riddle that he wrote about a gnome, and it had coordinates. It was really bizarre. But if you notice right there, there's the map. His home was Steptoe Apartments. That's where he lived. And right there, Garden Avenue. Was it a coincidence? Could have been, but it's pretty weird.
Yeah, he was playing with everybody. He deemed himself to be superior mentally than everybody else. He thought he could outwit the police. He thought he could outwit everyone. He planned everything to a T, except for he dropped his knife sheath.
He really messed that one up, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But you know, it looks like they've actually found him because of his car, though.
Yes, thankfully, right?
Yeah, but the knife sheath just seals the deal. Like,
I know. And people that dismiss this DNA, it's ridiculous because what is it, like an octillion? Like, what's the number? Do you remember, Donna? 1 octillion.
Yeah, it was something like that. 1 in an octillion that it wouldn't be him. It'd be like, there's, you know, what's that, 1,000 billions?
I know.
So,
and you know,
I would tell people what they had to talk about, and then he would be like, I'm smarter than you, and here's what happened, and stuff like that.
Which is his personality, right? From everything we've ever heard, everybody who's ever known him said that he was a know-it-all, that he wanted to tell you the way it was, and that he was smarter than you, always getting one over on you. And that's what I feel he's doing even in these posts. Because right here it says, let's see, which one? The white car is the killer. Here is why. He entered sliding door. 1 murder weapon. Same weapon was used. 1 knife killed all 4. Killing order. You know, like everything that he wrote was factually what happened. We later found out.
Yeah.
But this was early on. So it's like he knew a lot.
Okay, I see that. I'm saying EC was not in hallway.
Uh-oh, how do I fix this? Okay, now I'm going to play you guys a clip. Somebody who spoke to Inside Looking account during the time frame when there was no arrest or anything. They had a chat with him, and they have shared the conversation that they had. So I'm reading this off. Hopefully you guys can hear it. Let me start it over. Do I go like this?
He wasn't on floor.
Let me see if you can hear that. Can you hear that?
Then it says, I meant outside the bedroom. Should have
or no?
Better.
Barely, because I went out through the back door.
Timeline, which was
okay.
Posted. In their rumors, debunks an official. They said it's official that EC was not found in bed. So I was just suggesting, based on 3D layout, it's possible for the roommates to peek over the stairs and see his body on the ground and think he's passed out. If he was in the room, they'd see all the blood and know it was a murder scene. Yet they removed my post and told me it's false info. It's literally their info. What's your thoughts on EC being in the hallway? Now Inside Looking says, why would EC be in hallway? And then another person says, have you seen the 3D tour video for when the house was for sale? Inside Looking says, I know the layout. And Inside Looking is the base.
Oh, shit.
He says, I know the layout.
Yeah, he says, I know the layout. Isn't that wild? I'm not sure if you could hear that too well, Donna. Could you hear it or no?
Not very well, but I get the idea. I mean, he's one-upping everybody all the time, and he said the same weapon was used, and he just knows facts that you probably wouldn't know, you know, and he demands that those facts are correct.
Yep, precisely. Okay.
And he does that under every name for his accounts. He does the same thing to people.
He sure does. Completely. Okay, let me see if I can even.
I'm saying,
oh, shucks. Just a minute. It's playing this again. Okay, so when I zoom in, it starts to play. Oh, I know what I can do. I can delete it. There we go. Yay. Okay, let me see if I can enlarge this. So somebody put this on Reddit, and this is some of the case information that I think is interesting. So it's nothing that we think Brian Koberger wrote. It's just interesting stuff that's come out along the way, I guess. Evidence, whatever. So I decided to include it here. I guess they have pulled the records from Idaho Credit Union, banking records for Maddie, PayPal, Venmo, Pennsylvania State Employee Credit Union, which was for Brian to see his records, PNC Bank records for Brian to see, what was he buying? What was he buying online, such as that night? Washington Trust Bank records for Brian Koberger, Wells Fargo Bank for Madison Mogan, Wingco financial records for Brian. So he had a lot of different banks, I guess. Let's see. AT&T phone records for all of them, actually. 3 of them. Brian Koberger, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, TikTok user records for Xana, T-Mobile phone records for Kaylee. So it's a bunch of random info.
Can I say something about TikTok while you said that? I just remembered, and I'll probably forget. So I've done this experiment several times where I've turned on TikTok to see if it keeps. TikTok will go like. I finally turned it off after an hour. TikTok was still playing after an hour after I turned it on. Yeah. If you set it kind of leaning up, it'll just keep playing. And so, I mean, she may have been alive at 4:12, but I hope the cops know enough to know that just because someone's TikTok was on does not mean that they were actively using it, because it plays by itself.
That's a good point. It does. It goes video to video to video, just like a Twitter or X does. If you watch a video,
and an hour later, I did it again today because I did it before, and I just wanted to make sure again. And an hour later, it was still going.
Yeah, that's a good experiment to do.
Yeah,
it's very possible she was asleep, maybe, and got startled. What do you think?
Well, maybe not. But okay, what happened at 4 with this DoorDash thing? I didn't see that in any of my readings yet.
Yes.
I mean, this is another thing. It's like, it seems a little weird because if her and Ethan got pizza at midnight, was that true?
So I've heard that. And I
don't know if it's true, but it just doesn't seem like if you're 20 years old and you have a guy in your bed, you're going to pig out at 4 a.m. I just, you might, but. And then this one other YouTuber is suggesting, well, they ordered drugs because that Demetrius and the brunette girl, she was doing it's getting out there. I don't know what the truth is. I didn't see that part.
Yeah.
And but it's not necessarily true that she was still scrolling on TikTok, but she could have been. But I mean, we're talking 5 or 10 minutes. But if he went in there at 4:05 and I don't know. She could have been maybe, but it's just not a for sure because TikTok runs on its own. You turn it on, it keeps going.
It sure does.
So it doesn't provide the exact time one way or another on their timeline. They shouldn't use it to fit something in or something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Not unless she was texting somebody or commenting, that might be different.
Oh, that's true. That would show as different for sure.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait to the trial to find out the exact details.
So here is, let me see. This is from relatively recent, actually. Okay, here's what it says. Longtime lurker here. Been around since the Papa Roger and Inside Looking days. I just went back and read the Inside Looking Reddit post that a wonderful group member saved. There's so much the Inside Looking said on Reddit to think about now. I believe he absolutely was both Papa Roger and Inside Looking, and it was definitely BK. So absolutely unhinged and scary. Things that he wrote below. Kaylee's parents signed waivers for police department to investigate something male related. I have talked about this before, by the way. Inside Looking's response was that there is more here than you think. So what I want to tell you is I found this map you're looking at right across the screen, which probably looks really tiny for Donna. And I found this on December 4th. I remember because I was so excited to see something so bizarre. I was like, oh my God, this is seriously crazy. I got to tell Donna about this. I got to make a video about this. But what I found was so interesting is it was all these random landmarks, but we didn't know what it exactly meant. I noticed that right here, it has United States Postal Service as one of the important key things. It was like almost like a treasure map. I think he was putting things in weird places to really spook the community. I honestly,
this is a real game. I'd like to see that. Yeah, if you could email that one to me, I'd really like to see that.
And he clearly writes that United States Postal Service was important. And then I think it was later that day is when I found out that the post office, that Kaylee's parents were having something investigated by the FBI because something was sent to their home, to the parents' home. Then the early days of Brian, once he got arrested, in the docket, there was a USPS filing. Like they were retrieving records, probably from whatever was sent to Kaylee Gonzalez's parents' home. So there was significance to this map that nobody believed me on back then. Excuse me, I'm losing.
Oh yeah, I want to see that. So he really craved this whole attention from all this. He really got off on it.
Oh yeah, he did. Hold on one second. Okay, hopefully my voice, all of a sudden I'm losing my voice. How weird. Okay, back to this. So there was a number of weird things though, different landmarks that were significant. Some of them we will probably hear about in trial. But what it said below, and I don't even know how I'm going to read it. It's so fuzzy, but it says, we should all be marveling in his talent and commitment to perfection. So this was written just below the map. This was on the 30th of November. It says a true artist in his craft, like he was taking a bow. Yet no one seems to be paying proper respects. Our guest of honor has been in these threads and continues to do so. Let me be the first to say welcome. Let me apologize for all those who came before me and tried to present childlike antics, thus wasting your valuable time. The floor is now properly yours. We are ready to listen. So this
that sounds like him.
Oh yeah, it's creepy as can be. And then this is what really shook me back then. This totally, and it might not be Kaylee, but remember, there was talk about this guy stalking, and Donna, you felt that he was a stalker too.
Oh, I 100%. 100%.
There was this photo. This was posted in the same threads that this weirdo kept posting in with different stuff. And
is it Shelly?
That's what I think it is. And I can't positively say it is, but it seems like it is. Because look at that hair. If there were any windows,
he's trying to give the idea one way or another of being a stalker and a peeper.
Yeah. And that home was like a fishbowl. You could see through like every window. I don't think there was there even blinds on any windows?
No, Jeremy, the neighbor, said that like they never, or they very rarely even shut their curtains. That it was like very dark around that neighborhood, and that you would go for a walk and you couldn't help but look because their lights would be bright on and all their curtains would be open, way after dark. And so it was very easy for someone who wanted to watch them, a voyeur type or peeper, a stalker, very easy pickings there.
So creepy. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Real quick, while everybody's still here. Oh, go ahead, Donna. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, make sure to email me that one. I want to look at his treasure map.
Yes, I will. And real quick, while everybody's still in the chat, could you please hit the like button? Also, I want to tell you while we're talking about the map, there was speculation, there was gossip or rumor, I think it was, that blood was put on a pole inside of a laundromat. Yeah, that was listed. I think it was listed. It might be on the other. Oh yeah, Sudsy's Laundry, LLC. But that's what I was hearing.
I remember that. I had forgotten about that.
Yeah, whether it's true or not, I don't know. But there was rumblings of that. And then that was listed on this map. And the U.S. Postal Service ended up being something.
And that was even mentioned in the Inside Looking account. He was saying that something was sent to the house, basically. And that was before Kaylee's parents talked about it.
The interesting thing is, okay, so I saw him take a jar, and there's blood in there, right? So I don't know that he did that at the laundromat. I don't know, but it's possible.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me. I'll put it that
Like
way.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
Brian would do something like that. See how he's taunting people, and he's really getting off on this power trip. He has zero remorse. He's not some pitiful oddball. He's an evil, sadistic psychopath.
Completely. And I'm glad that you expressed just the level of how evil he is, because again, people have made him into this person that is so larger than life, some anti-hero type guy. And it's all bullshit. He's
poor little Doogie Howser. Just because he was bullied, you want to put him in front of the firing squad. Oh, poor him. No, not poor him. He will cut your throat without thinking twice and not care about it for a second.
Yeah. Thank you. That is so true. Ugh, it's gross. Really gross. Oh, here is the riddle. Here is the riddle. And this is the last page, I believe. Okay, so this was posted November 20th, Sunday, November 20th, 2022. So technically a day before that one reading you did, Donna, that we were talking about tonight.
Oh, he did this on the 20th?
Yep, this was posted on the 20th in the 4chan chat thing. Yeah. And again, there are the coordinates below. It says flowers, leaves, and butterflies. Here is a sight to soothe your eyes. A mini forest outside your home. You might even find a gnome. And then these coordinates. So wherever this leads, I wonder if somebody will go find it and just see. Just see if there's something to it, or if it's just total baloney. It could be total baloney. But I have never heard of somebody that went to check on it. It's worth checking.
I know. I'm
Wouldn't
going
that
to look
be
at
crazy? Donna, wouldn't that be crazy if the knife was like buried there or something still, or something?
Yeah. Well, I saw him. I mean, the way he did it, he was putting it into the ground with both hands as something like you would do in a ritual in a church or something like that. I mean, it was extremely ritualistic. Like, he valued this above everything. This was so good for him and so important to him. I don't know how these people, what these people are thinking that sit around every night talking about how great he is and how he needs to be rescued. Are you kidding? He would turn around and kill you in a heartbeat, people.
Amen.
Yeah.
Such a good point. So this screenshot here was, and you can't really see it. I didn't do a good job of clipping it, but it says Brian Christopher Koberger. Now keep in mind, Brian Christopher Koberger Instagram account was following his sisters. Okay. So he was following people on his account with the same last name. This is to provide you guys understanding that this was absolutely his personal account. It wasn't just some fudged made up account that somebody came up with on a whim to make it look like it was him. This was him. And here you can see he was following Kaylee and he was following Madison. And here's some other names that he was following too. Ryan Hubschmut, Casey Bridges, Cody Nash, all these random people. He's following, he had 1,500 followers. He was following 102. I think that is legitimate. And people for the longest time have been trying to say, oh, I don't think so. That wasn't him. That was just somebody, blah, 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 blah. No, that was him. And he was liking Madison's pictures. Come on, people. Yeah. Oh, he's so cute.
It's good that you took those screenshots before they pulled his accounts down.
Oh, yeah. And I even have another one of his Reddit accounts where he was commenting about some OnlyFans girl. Like he loved to look at women he could never have. Look at How cute he is.
Oh yeah, yeah. But they filled him with rage and resentment and feelings of inadequacy, and he wanted to slaughter them. So another person might say, "Oh, great! I have a picture of I probably can't have that girl, but I can masturbate to that picture." That's a halfway normal man would do that, maybe. But Brian, his fantasies are of killing them.
Oh gosh.
While he's sexually assaulting them.
Yeah, and
that's how serious this is. That's how serious this is.
Completely. And that was another thing. I don't think I put. Okay, so I'm thinking of another post that I didn't put on my slide, but it was talking about exactly what you just said. Doing
about
that,
hanging Kaylee's innards from the chandelier or whatever.
Well, I had that one too, but no, this one was specifically about him taking off his knife to unbuckle his pants to do such and such things to himself right during the ordeal.
That's what he wanted to do. That was what was going on in his mind. If he had that extra 30 minutes, that might have been what he ended up doing. That is what he wanted to do.
Yeah, that was a post on it from late November or like the 20-something-th of November. So it was very early on.
Was it one of those accounts that you think was his?
No, it was not one of the Reddit accounts. It was on 4chan.
Yeah. Well, he was on 4chan too.
Oh,
because he on 4chan is where he said he was going to be hiding. He said, I'll be hiding in shithole Pennsylvania. So good luck finding me. That's what he said right on 4chan.
Exactly. So we
know he was on there.
Yeah, he was in those threads. He was posting that map, talking about the USPS stuff. Like all of it has come out gradually.
Yeah. And people quit talking about all that. I'm glad you brought all that up again. And because remember, we were taking screenshots and going, oh my God, do you think this is him and stuff like, yeah, he was all over. And I was in that big Facebook group where he was taunting people. And some guy finally said, you seem to know an awful lot. What are you, the killer or something? And then he went away for a little for that night.
Yeah. And it's important to understand that these accounts that he was on, they vanished the moment he was arrested. So that tells me that these accounts were scrubbed from law enforcement. They went in and scrubbed them. So what remained was anybody who had the foresight and wisdom to screen record, capture in some way, or people who had messages back and forth with him. They had that proof. But what happened is the post remained, but the name went away. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
That's what happened. And so that video I showed you earlier on my Twitter, where you and I'm reading that post, that was a post I had found, but it didn't have his screen name on there anymore. Because when his profile went away, all that was left was the post, but no screen name.
That's interesting. That's interesting how they had the post like that.
I know. And what pisses me off is that law enforcement goes in and scrubs all that stuff so fast, because then it makes everybody who saw it feel like they're being gaslit or something. Like, what? I know what I saw, but where did it go?
It's frustrating, but I think they do that because when they find information about a case, sometimes they want to know, like, only the killer would know this, and if the whole world is talking about it, they don't really have that kind of specific. I don't know. That might be why. I don't. Maybe that. Yeah, I don't know. Really, I'm just maybe talking off the. I'm getting sleepy. I might be talking off the top of my head.
I know. I'm ready to call it whenever you are. I want to read this comment real quick. Kung Fu Panda says that. By the way, thank you so much, Kung Fu Panda. Says, was his ultimate fantasy to continue this spree and work in law enforcement? What do you think, Donna?
Oh, yes. Yeah. If he had not been caught, his whole life, he would be killing people.
Oh, God.
His whole life. Oh, and that's another thing. And one of them, he probably wanted to beat Ted Bundy's record. He would try to do that in his life. Papa Rogers may be a nod to Elliot Rogers, right? The other. Oh, totally. But he considered all serial killers to be like celebrities. So how some people worship celebrities in a way. They like, oh, those are real people who probably done bad things to get those roles. But people sit around and worship these celebrities. Well, he worshiped all the serial killers. They were all celebrities to him. That was too in one of the readings. He worshipped all of them.
So BTK, Bundy.
Oh yeah.
That's
Elliot Rogers wasn't able to get in the sorority.
Yeah.
But he, this isn't a sorority house technically, but in a way, kind of, it's the girls from the sorority. Ted Bundy went and killed a bunch of sorority girls. If Brian had not been caught, his life would be a string of murders that he had done. Until sometimes they lose control finally, like Ted Bundy, and they just go for it and they just go on a killing spree till they get caught. But yeah, I don't know if he killed people before because I never did a reading about it, and it wouldn't surprise me though. And I even wonder about his female friend from high school that died of the drug overdose. Like, I wonder if he was there.
Oh my gosh, that's a good question.
Was he there, and did he watch her die? Did he do it on purpose to watch her die? Because he wanted. I don't know. He might have not even been there. I don't know. Like, I'm not making a psychic claim. Like I said, I didn't do a reading, but for sure. And if he got found not guilty at this trial, which I don't see happening, but if he got found not guilty and was released, it would be a matter of time until when people weren't looking at him anymore. He would be out killing, or when something bad happened in his life to make him want to feel that power again, he would be killing more. Definitely. He wouldn't be able to stop. He's a serial killer.
Which is exactly what you said right out of the gate,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Being connected to his brain was the most intense yet. And I actually prayed to God to never let me experience that again. I mean, as a psychic, you're like, oh yeah, I want to. No, I was like, dear God, please, I don't ever want to be exposed to that level of intensity and evil again, But then I turn around and I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready now, God. And spirit people, if you just show me where his knife is, I'll go rent a car right now. And then all of a sudden I feel the energy drop and they're like, no, we don't actually do. I was actually praying. I'm like, I could feel spirit around me. And I'm like, come on. If you show me where his knife is, I'll go rent a car right now and go find it. Like a homing pigeon, like it's a magnetic pull and I got to do this. And then I just, all the energy, they just dropped the energy. It was like, no, you're not. No, you're not.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was kind of funny.
For sure. That's funny. So here's another question that's being asked. Thank you, Claudia, 1026. And thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Question for Donna. Is there a chance that Red Haperson helped Brian? Still believe he didn't do it alone? I don't really know who
She means red hair. Remember I said, oh, this guy has really red hair and he looks like Paul Murdoch's son. Jack Showalter's fraternity photo. Turns out, people sent me that after. It looks a lot like Paul Murdoch's son.
Right.
We could find out at the trial that Jack Showalter was walking home at that time. And maybe that's really the reason he took off. Not to say, I'm not trying to imply that he was part of it. Was he? But on that reading I did on the 21st, I'm seeing the killer come walking up the street past the phone pole and then going to the house. So that would tell me that it was Brian. Like, I literally don't know.
Okay.
Because the way I saw everything was so weird. And I think at the trial, if it turns out Jack Showalter's testifying at the trial that he was, had stopped at a fraternity party and he was walking home and he saw something, maybe. But if it turns out that was just Brian's alter ego, that could be too. It could be either. And I really don't have the answer.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. For sure.
There was like 3 times a couple of weeks ago, because I saw these unanswered questions from, people in the chatter and the YouTube and stuff. I'm like, I should do another reading and get those answers. And all 3 times when I even got to the edge of feeling that energy, I was like, do I really want to go here? Do I really want to go through this? And the answer was no.
Yeah.
Like there's some things, with the exception of where the knife is, there's some things that I can just wait. If it's just curiosity, I can wait. You know, if I thought there was a killer that was loose, like when I did the Xana Kernodle reading, her friends told me I could put their voice on there.
Mm-hmm.
I only put my own because these people are like, what, 20 years old? And I don't know the answer. I don't know if there's anything else besides him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I put only my voice, you know, just on that chance. I'm not going to be having anyone getting hurt because of something I'm doing, you know.
That's such a good point, because you really, I mean, really, what if there was another and there was a reason you saw that red hair nut?
Yeah. And that it could be. I did find a couple other people besides Showalter that fit that description, that in every way, in looks and issues they had, that were possible as well. So I don't have the answer. I literally don't have the answer. Just like I said, statistically, most serial killers operate alone. However, I you know, he was out there in that field, and like, part of when you're getting the higher degrees, you do, like, I got a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, and I spent 15 hours a week as a victim advocate at a where families of murder victims, you know, helping them in every way that they needed. So as you go up in all that, you spend a lot of time in these positions where you're interacting. So I'm sure I would think he would be interacting with criminals to learn more about them, even as a doctoral student. Like, was he over there interviewing people by Friendship Square when he saw Kaylee, or was he just, was Kaylee waiting for Maddie outside the Mad Greek and then he followed her up the street? I don't know what but I do know he came out of one of those businesses and he was following Maddie.
Well,
not Maddie. See, I did it again. Kaylee.
Yeah.
Because I said the rounder faced girl, the heavier set girl, the curvier girl. In the 21st reading, on the 21st, I was describing her more accurately.
Right. Wouldn't that be so crazy though, Donna, if during the trial they managed to, through their geofencing of the phones and mapping out where phones were at such and such time, just to see if there was a connection between them, between Brian and Kaylee and Maddie and all them? What if
I think they are. The FBI agent, what's interesting is the FBI agent, the cast agent, that's the FBI's guy that does all that cell phone stuff. He's the same FBI agent that was on Lori Vallow's trial, on Lori Vallow's case.
Right,
because the same guy.
And
he's pretty good. I mean, he's like pinning down where they were to like some of these other YouTubers are only talking about the cell phone pings, but when that guy gets on the stand, it's going to be all about. He's saying that, like, they could tell where someone's cell phone is to within 5 feet of where they were,
which is so pinpointed down, like so accurate. It's unreal.
Right?
Within 15 to 20 feet, but within 5 feet is incredible.
Yeah. So they're going to have a lot more information at the trial. That's why the people, you know, the pro burgers or whatever, not the creators, but just the people watching. They've been watching this for 2 years, hooked on it. You've been lied to. And all I ask is that you keep an open mind. I'm not asking you to convict him just because my belief is so solid. Like one of the other creators said, you know, why do you believe that? Like I said, because I saw him.
Yeah.
It's really that simple for me. I saw him.
It is, because you get a bird's eye view of what happened. Like it is.
Yeah, I saw him. That's why. And so I don't expect them to jump on my bandwagon and go, he's guilty. Just have an open mind. And when you get to the trial, listen to the actual lawyers and evidence and people testifying. just keep your mind open, and there's going to be a lot of information that comes out. Like nobody's talking yet about this cast agent. He's pretty thorough.
He's
like
really
I downloaded everything from the testimony of that trial. He is very thorough.
He's very thorough. I can't wait till he gets on the stand and tells it like it is.
Yeah. And then we're going to know every time that Brian's cell phone was near Kaylee's. Right. Although you would think if he was smart, he would leave his cell phone at home sometimes. You know, he thinks he's so smart.
He thinks he's so smart. Right.
Why not have a burner phone then if you need a cell phone on you? Like, why, if you're going to stalk someone and plan on killing them, why don't you have a burner phone or something? You know, I don't know.
Smart. No, there definitely is some mistakes he made. And you know, go ahead.
I just like leaving your knife sheath with your DNA on it under the body of the murder victim.
I know.
And then these YouTubers are like, so what? It was planted. And it's like, come on, at some point. Well, keep an open mind until the trial.
Right. And you know, tonight I feel that we have presented so much as far as facts, evidence, but also your psychic visions, which have been as clear cut and true as real evidence before. We've witnessed it in the Lori Vallow case. So like, I think people for so long have been inundated with bullshit information from people.
Nonstop. Because the people, the people that want to report at the actual stories, they kind of slow down when there's no actual stories. And the people that want to keep making money off it, they start making up stories. It's really that simple, and it happens on every case.
It is. And tonight we have reminded people of the facts that have been lost in the sauce because it's been so long since people have even talked about the facts.
Yeah, it's been a while, and now it seems like this judge, I think it's a burn on and one of the times for Judge, she actually wanted Brian's trial to start on 11/22.
Ooh.
And right then she lost all my respect. I'm like, what are you, a Satanist? Really?
Yeah.
Really? And I meant that really.
Yeah.
Why would she? I mean, I uploaded my reading on 11/22 and didn't know. Now, did Brian ask her to do that? Even then, you know, it was just real creepy, I thought. And
oh my gosh.
So then she's trying to wiggle her boobs and act like she's a, you know, when she gets assigned to the case, she wants to do all these glamour shots for Fox News, pointing at things at the house. Like you could tell she's posing all over the place, right?
So weird.
With her bleach blonde hair. And then she gets in front of Judge and she's just playing these games with him left and right. And then she's like, oh, we want this moved somewhere else. We're not going to get a fair trial here. Well, they got a real judge now.
Thank God.
They got a real serious. I mean, I read that motion he wrote back to them, and he's like top of the class.
Good.
He's not putting up with her crap, you know.
Good.
So and Judge is a real judge too, but he's just nice, you know. He's just nice, and he lets them play these games. And this judge is just like looking at her like, you're not winning any brownie points here with your lame ass crap you're pulling in this court.
Glad. I'm so glad. And, you know, upon you saying that about 11/22, I just realized there's a fact that went completely over my head tonight. And that was that inside looking account was created on 11/22, I think for a very specific reason.
Was it really?
Yeah, I swear to God, 11/22.
Okay, then, so it's Brian for sure.
Yeah, and then it even said that his birthday was 11/21. That's his birthday.
Yep.
That's Brian's actual birthday. So he was putting his real birthday in, like, and we're gonna believe that wasn't Brian? Are you freaking kidding me? He was in.
No, it was Brian. It was Brian.
Hell yeah, it was Brian.
And all those accounts you pointed out, with the exception of that one.
Yeah.
But all those accounts, I mean, you could tell he's the same way in all of them. Very arrogant, very controlling. I know it, you don't, you know.
Right. Completely. A total know-it-all. I know.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick. Shelly Silva says,
Donna, I got a reading from you around when your dog had puppies. I wonder if my reading is in your files. By the way, thank you so much, Shelly Silva, for the $5 super chat. Donna, what do you think of that? Do you remember if you might have that still of hers?
I'm writing her name down. I'll look.
Okay, good.
What I would say is I have, unfortunately, literally hundreds, but really several thousand readings, and almost none of them are labeled. Like, the odds are slim that I have a label. Well, I don't think that I probably have a labeled record, but I might. There's a few. Tell her to email me the date, because you could see on the file formats, it's the numbers are the date.
The numbers.
So if she knows the date of her reading, if she looks on her calendar and she knows the date of her reading, I could probably do a search on my computer and see.
Oh, that's great. Okay, that's great. I hope she's still in here. I think she is. Shelly, thank you. I'm sorry I was late getting to your stuff. It was during the time I was presenting. And also I need to say happy in my flip-flops. Thank you so much for your, there's Rocky. Oh, he's so cute. For your sweet $50. I really super appreciate your support. Thank you so much. He is adorable, Donna. Oh my God. He is so
He's so my pretend child for this rest of this earth life.
I know, and he's a good one to have by your side, isn't he? He's so cute.
He's real attached to me. He's very lovable. He thinks he's my child, and so do I. We both agree. He's my baby.
He's precious.
Yeah.
So cute. Okay, we'll wrap it up here in just a second. Shelly Silva said, Donna, what did you see with Karen Reed? Did you do something on Karen Reed?
I did. And you know what? I was like, oh, if I keep putting up these readings implicating cops, then cops won't be like, listen to me when I try to tell them about other readings. But no, I don't believe she's the one who did it. I think that sociopathic girlfriend of one of the cops told her she did it. I think she was drunk. But what I saw him go in the house, and right away I saw him get in a fight with one of those guys. I saw the one, but I'm not going to say. And I think they just threw him out in the snow. I don't think they tried to kill him. I don't think they killed him in the house. I think they threw him out, and there he was. And to cover it up, I believe that one of the girlfriends went and picked her up and told her she did that.
Oh,
because she was on a blackout.
That is so terrible.
That's really what I believe. I mean, it really is. The whole reading was like that. In fact, I hadn't been watching about the case, and I also don't have network television by choice. Yes. And so I was in my Zoom class, and they asked me about that, and I'm like, oh, I did a reading, and I told them all about it, and it fit in perfectly with what they already knew.
Oh my gosh!
And I just decided, I was like, because if I constantly am putting up readings, saying, oh, okay, what state was that? That's Massachusetts. Isn't that like one of these originating from organized crime? They've got a problem with dirty cops. And that judge, they shouldn't even be doing a second trial, but it sure shouldn't be her. I heard that she plays golf with one of the relatives of the cops. I mean, this is like an inbred little clique. Of these cops covering Forchan, because if they let Karen Reed off, then they have to look at what really happened.
Oh, that's so sick. Mm-hmm.
I know it is. And I don't think they should even be doing this second trial. Like, do you know that judge wouldn't put not guilty as one of the choices for the jurors? Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
It was only I don't
know much about
totally guilty or partially guilty. And there's no choice for not guilty. That's how corrupt this judge is. I mean, this case should be thrown out. But this judge, I believe, is also extremely corrupt and part of this clique. Like it's a horrible thing.
It sounds bad.
I know, and I just thought, that's what I had thought at the time. Yeah. That's what I thought at the time was like, if I put a bunch of readings up that are like negative towards cops, then when I go and try to convince a cop,
Oh.
you know, oh, well, I'm a psychic, you know, I think this kid was brought to this warehouse. Then they're just look at my channel and they're like, oh, this lady says crap about cops. I'm
Right.
never talking to her again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
But
it's just,
yeah, no, I think charges should be dismissed. I think the judge should be taken off. I don't
Yeah.
think that judge should be allowed to try this case. She's already proven that she's corrupt. Just
know
by
what?
the jury instructions alone.
You know what riddle comes to mind? The stench from the bench is making me clench.
That's about right.
The judge.
That's about right.
Yeah.
And they did all these things in this trial to show how corrupt the cops are. And then now they're having the second trial where they're going to not allow any of the evidence about how corrupt the cops are. It's a frame job. And you know what's really interesting? I hadn't watched anything about it when I did the reading, right? I just seen, I hadn't even heard about the crime or anything about her leading up to the trial. I just heard about it like the trial started. And at some point I didn't even really watch that, but just enough to see like, oh, I'll do a reading. Someone asked me to do a reading or something.
Yeah.
After the reading, like I told you, that's what I do. I do a reading first. And then I go out on the internet and I try to see if there's anything I can confirm. And who I came across, wake yourself up. Just do it. Rip that Band-Aid off.
That's right. I was talking to my mom about this today. She came over and she was telling me, like instructing me, Lauren, why don't you tell such and such family member, like to go look at such and such piece of information and to do their own research? I said, Mom, why would I even invest the time to make somebody understand how deep the corruption and this globalist agenda goes? You got to take them back to the beginning. Adam Weishaupt, 17 something, right? With the Illuminati. I mean, it really goes back to that and probably be further back than that even, right? To really understand.
It's been there since the beginning of time. These elite people doing human sacrifices just like Lori and Chad.
Right.
If this closes me, there's some little, I don't know if it's a virus, but it's like some ad thing. It might take over my phone. So if I go off, then.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's spinning. Oh, there it goes.
Okay. Well, we can get off that. We'll end it there, but I thought this was a very interesting conversation. Oh, you're freezing up. Maybe I lost her. Okay.
Oh, no, here I am.
Oh, there she is. Okay.
Yeah. It's some little thing that just pops up every once in a while and starts spinning, and then an ad starts. I don't know how to get it off my phone.
Okay. Well, Donna, thank you so much for coming on. I loved our conversations. We had many different kinds, and all of them were very interesting. And
yeah, it's interesting late night. Now it's midnight. It's after midnight.
Oh my God. Wow. I cannot believe this is like such a record for us.
I know. I haven't been up this late, and I don't remember how long.
Oh gosh, I know. We need to go to bed. But thanks again, Donna. Please, everybody, please go subscribe to our channel. Please like this video and turn off the mainstream media.
Yeah, absolutely.
All we can say. Yeah. Thanks again, everybody. Thanks, Donna. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me, Lauren, and thank you everybody for listening.
Thank you. It was a great discussion. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.